Sports 96.5, the station. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You are listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Excited to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Today is our Papa Shot tournament. We will be down there. I will be there. Rob will be there. We're also competing in the Papa Shot tournament. Hope to see all of you come out there and support. Maybe you're in the tournament. Maybe you just want to hang out, grab something to drink, play some games, watch the NCAA tournament. We'll be doing that later tonight at Draftcade. Really excited for today's show. CJ Moore is going to join us on the show. He got the opportunity to sit down with Darren Peterson this week. We're going to talk to him about that experience, also how it has gone this year for Darren Peterson, and if he can turn things around as we are heading into March. We also are going to be joined by Daniel Jeremiah. He is going to be on the show coming up in 15 minutes. I believe that Daniel Jeremiah is the best when it comes to the NFL draft. Daniel Jeremiah will be on the show coming up in about 15 minutes to take a look ahead to the NFL draft. We'll also talk a little NCAA March Madness. We'll talk a little tourney. We'll do all of those things. Before we move forward, I need you guys to do me a couple of favors. Number one, I need you to listen to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. Number three, and most importantly, I need you to remember that the show each day is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. Go stop by and have lunch there. You still got a little bit of time. The lunch specials end at 3 o'clock. They got 12 lunch items for $8.99. You can get a specialty burger, you can get a salad, you can get a pasta, you can get a sandwich, a pizza, a salad and soup combination, all that for under $10, 11 a.m. to 3 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Stop by, see our friends over at The Other Place. Grab yourself a little bit of lunch. Actually, I ate at The Other Place yesterday for dinner. Shout out to The Other Place. Where I would like to begin today's show is talking about the World Baseball Classic. Congratulations to Venezuela. They are the winner of the World Baseball Classic, and I want to start today's show by playing for you guys something that Salvador Perez had to say.
That's unbelievable. I'm super happy. And now I feel like I can retire. Hey, I'm super excited, guys. I want to thank God first for everything in my country, all the people that support us. I know a lot of people don't believe in this thing, but we did it, and we're number one.
We are coming up on the 15-year anniversary of Salvador Perez's Major League debut. He was called up to the majors on August 10th of 2011. When you really start to think about Salvador Perez's career, he has almost checked every single box that you can check as a baseball player. He has been a 9-time All-Star. He is a World Series champion. He was the MVP of that World Series. They started an all-MLB first team, their equivalent of all-pro. He has made that a handful of times. He has 5 Gold Gloves. He has 5 Silver Slugger awards. He was the AL Comeback Player of the Year. He has led Major League Baseball in home runs. He has led Major League Baseball in RBIs at one point in his career. Yesterday is one of those perfect send-off kind of moments for Salvador Perez. I'm not sure if Salvi gets an opportunity to win another championship. Certainly would like for that to be the case. But if you are someone like Salvador Perez and you have had the opportunity to check almost every single box off of your baseball career, you have had wonderful personal success. You have had incredible team success. There really was probably one box left, I think, for him to be able to check. And being able to go out there, compete for his country, being able to still help his country win a baseball tournament that baseball players seem to buy in and believe in and invest in, has to be a very rewarding moment. What is interesting to me is we have heard a couple of different baseball players say this. Now, I can't answer this. Derek Jeter says it's crazy. Aaron Judge says he feels like this is bigger than the World Series. Salvador Perez, who played in multiple World Series, says that this might be bigger than winning the World Series.
I got to be honest with you. It's similar. This is like Game 7 in the World Series. This is, it's a little bit more special because you play for your country. You know, 30 million people in Venezuela. I know they're all happy right now. You guys know what's going on. Nothing I can hide it. You guys know how was Venezuela, you know, and all that. So it's a beautiful country, and I love the people from there, and I know Venezuelan people are everywhere right now, and I know they're happy right now. So this will mean a lot for us.
That was Salvador Perez yesterday after Venezuela won the World Baseball Classic. Again, congratulations to Venezuela. Congratulations to Salvador Perez. Kansas City has been very, very lucky in some ways. Travis Kelce is going to play his entire career in Kansas City and has represented Kansas City as well as any human being can represent a city. I would say the exact same thing for Salvador Perez. The fact that Kansas City has had two titans in their respective sports, two future Hall of Fame guys, be great examples in the community, be phenomenal baseball players and great people, is a real blessing as a sports community. So again, congratulations to Salvador Perez. If you look at his baseball career, he has done just about everything. I think he'll get to 2,000 hits. I think he'll get real close. He's at like 1,700 right now. He maybe gets to 2,000 hits. He's hit 300 home runs. He has over 1,000 RBIs. I mentioned all the personal accomplishments, the All-Star, the World Series MVP, the Gold Gloves, the Silver Sluggers, leading baseball in home runs back in 2021, leading baseball in RBIs back in 2021, leading his team to the World Baseball Classic gold medal. The conversation about Salvador Perez and the gold medal, that should be done. Or the Hall of Fame, excuse me. That should be done. There should not be a conversation anymore about, is Salvador Perez a Hall of Famer? The answer is absolutely. And if you are arguing that in 2026, I don't need to be talking baseball with you. There's not really much more productivity that we can have in a baseball conversation if you are not on the same page. That Salvador Perez has definitely checked enough boxes that he needs to be in the Pro Baseball Hall of Fame whenever his career is up. Now, I didn't know this. Maybe I should have known this. I don't know if Rob knew this. I don't know if you guys knew this or not. But we got some startling news yesterday. This is Maikel Garcia. He was the World Baseball Classic. He was the MVP of this whole thing. Think about all the players that played in this thing. Shohei was in this thing. Aaron Judge was in this thing. Bryce Harper was in this thing. Paul Skeens. I mean, almost any great baseball player that you can name, they played in this thing. Maikel Garcia, he was the MVP. He was the best player in the whole tournament. And we learned this about him.
It's not Maikel, it's
Maikel.
Hold on. You're telling me this entire time we've been pronouncing his name incorrectly. It's Maikel Garcia? Hold on, let me play this again.
It's not Maikel, it's
Maikel.
Why didn't he just tell us that from the very beginning? Rob, has he been trying to tell us this and we just didn't listen? Because calling him Maikel Garcia from the very beginning, I mean, I feel like we would have done that. I mean, I remember when we had Raul Mondesi, he then woke up one day and said, I want to be Alberto Mondesi, and we all disagreed. All right, you want to be called Alberto, we'll call you Alberto. Fine with me. You're telling me this whole time we've been calling him Maikel Garcia when we should have just been calling him Maikel Garcia. There's a lot of that going around right now in sports. Now, I get it with Travis Etienne. At this point, I'm not even trying it. I mean, just I've been calling it that long. I'm not going to confuse myself now at this point. Rob, I would have respected the man's wishes from the very, very beginning if he had just told us that his name was Maikel Garcia. Now I got to unlearn Maikel Garcia in my brain and start calling him the right thing. And then ultimately, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to call him Maikel Garcia. The text line's going to try to correct me. And I'll be like, no. That's what he said. That's how we pronounce his name. So I'm cool with calling him Maikel Garcia. Rob, I just want to know why he wasn't telling us from the very beginning. That's your name.
Is this the new trend in sports among athletes? I mean, we had it with, ATN, whatever his name is. Remember last year at one point it went from, it's not really Kelsey, it's Kels. Like, it was either A, the teams have been pronouncing these names wrong so long that it got ingrained in fans the wrong name, or B, this is just a tweak to their pronunciation that they make midstream, because it's happening a lot recently, or at least it feels like it's happening a lot.
I mean, maybe this is like the Joe Theismann effect, that his name was actually Joe Theismann, but he was trying to go win the Heisman, so they just started calling him Joe Theismann instead, and it just kind of stuck with the name. But yeah, I would have been calling him Maikel Garcia this whole time. I wasn't here to mispronounce the man's name. As somebody who was born with the name Carrington, I certainly know your plight, brother. I would have been on your same side. Is that with a C? Is it with a K? Is it C-A? Is it K-E? I used to get called Carlton all the time when I was a kid. People misspell my name literally all the time. Or then I'll tell somebody my name and they'll be like, your first name, it's Carrington. That's my, I didn't know. Yeah, that's my first name. It's Carrington. Yeah, I would have respected the man's wishes. I'd have called him Maikel Garcia. I'm going to work on it. I feel like we need to apologize to him. Maikel Garcia had a phenomenal World Baseball Classic. He is the MVP. He has had a phenomenal last 12 months. If you were going back to last baseball season with him getting his first All-Star appearance, now the World Baseball Classic, I mean, we're talking about somebody who is turning into a legitimate star. I'm not saying they're the 2014, 2015 Royals. They obviously got a lot more to prove. They got a lot more to do. But it does feel like, in some ways, it is 2013, 2014-ish, where the Royals are starting to get a group of young players who are starting to play great baseball all at the same time in their mid-20s. From having one of the 5 best players in baseball in Bobby Witt Jr. on their team, from having Vinny Pasquantino, who looks like he has 30, 40 legitimate home run power, from Maikel Garcia, from Jack Caglione, it just is starting to feel like the Royals are starting to get, and I didn't even name a pitcher in that sequence. It feels like they're starting to get a lot of guys between the ages of 22 and 27 all at the same time, playing great baseball, all under contract long-term, and all really committed to trying to go out there and win. This should be a really fun, really exciting season with the Kansas City Royals. I told you guys yesterday, the Royals should be annoying for the next 10 days. They should be annoying. If you are subscribed to the Royals emails because you've bought tickets, they should be emailing you every day, telling you about their young superstars and to buy tickets and discounts and promotions and trying to have people. The Royals should absolutely take advantage of that as we are heading into March Madness. It feels like the Royals are the biggest story. That never happens. There's never a time where I would say we are a day before March Madness, and I legitimately think that the Royals are the number one story in Kansas City sports right now because of how well their players represented themselves, represented the community, represented the organization in the World Baseball Classic. Coming up on the other side, we are going to be joined by Daniel Jeremiah of NFL Network. I believe that he is the best NFL draft analyst out there. We are going to go through the position needs for the Kansas City Chiefs. We're also going to talk about his mock draft. He had them taking a right tackle with the 9th overall pick. We'll discuss it with Daniel Jeremiah. That's coming up. Don't turn the dial. So drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Man, your yard looks great. Who does that for you, Gunther?
It's Gunter, no H.
You sure it's not Gunther? Listen, we've been with Gunter for years. They take care of our lawn with 7 annual applications. We're weed-free and have a lusher, thick, green lawn. Trust me, it's Gunter.
No matter how you say it, we've been helping Kansas City homeowners improve their yards for decades. For greener, thicker lawns, it's Gunter.
I'm pretty sure it's Gunther. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Sex, intimacy, love. These 3 things are critical to a good relationship, and that's the problem with erectile dysfunction. It often destroys sexual enjoyment and intimacy. It stresses the love between partners, often to the breaking point. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're suffering with ED, you likely know exactly what I'm talking about. But I also want you to know that ED doesn't have to impact your relationship anymore. At Heartland Men's Health, we're ED experts, with our focus on men's sexual health. We've treated tens of thousands of men and have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. I promise you, if you're like most guys, you can get your sex life back, perhaps even performing like you haven't in years. So if ED is affecting you, it's time to get back to better sex, better intimacy, and deeper love. Call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
We have a couple of nationally televised and some other pro basketball games on tonight. Let's take a look at the latest pro basketball injury report, presented by Fanatics Sportsbook. Golden State versus Boston tips off tonight at 7 p.m. Golden State has 2 players listed as day-to-day. Quentin Post is dealing with a foot injury, and LJ Cryer re-aggravated his hamstring injury that's been bothering him all season. Both players will be game-time decisions. For Boston, they'll still be without Nikola Vucevic, who's recovering from surgery on his right hand. He'll be off the court for several weeks. In the late game, LA will play Houston. LA forward Maxi Kleber is out and will miss extended time with a back injury. For Houston, their center Alperen Sengun missed Monday's game and remains day-to-day with a back injury. That's today's report. Listen all season long for weekly injury updates presented by Fanatics Sportsbook, the home of fair play. Download the app today. Winning hits different with Fanatics Sportsbook when everything is on the line before the playoffs. And this season, you may have heard about Fanatics Sportsbook and their one-of-a-kind fair play injury protection. There's no better place to bet player props than Fanatics Sportsbook, and last night proves the point. Detroit versus Washington. Detroit all-star point guard goes down in the first quarter with an injury and does not return in the second half. Fanatics Fair Play voided all pro player prop bets across straights, parlays, and same-game parlays instantly and let your bets play out. Some books protect your bet for just the first quarter. Some discontinued your protection for the playoffs. But not at Fanatics Sportsbook, where they flip losing bets into winning bets. The numbers are right here. Fanatics Sportsbook's Fair Play policy saved 50% of SGPs. Don't wait for that bad bet with other books this playoffs. Bet with a book that always has your back. Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
The 66th Annual O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels Custom Car Show. March 20th through 22nd. Bartle Hall, Kansas City. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. See America's finest top rods, customs, trucks, and motorcycles. Features and guest appearances. Cars and stars. All weekend. The O'Reilly Auto Parts World of Wheels Custom Car Show. March 20th through 22nd. Bartle Hall, Kansas City. Discount tickets at O'Reilly Auto Parts stores.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. That's ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Yo, Harvey, Zoe, group selfie.
Ooh, nice new iPhone 17, Drewski.
Let's do a triangle formation. I'm in front.
With a center stage front camera, everyone fits in the shot.
He got it at T-Mobile.
But switching takes forever.
Not anymore. Now you can switch to T-Mobile in just 15 minutes.
Focus, people. Nail your pose.
And you get a new iPhone 17 on them.
No way.
Yes way.
No way.
Yes way, guys. Switch to T-Mobile and get iPhone 17 on us. And right now, we'll pay off your old phone up to $800.
I'm grabbing my phone and switching to T-Mobile right now.
Get back, Harvey. We're taking a... Let's go again, y'all.
With 24 monthly bill credits, finance agreement, 256 gigabytes, $830, eligible trade-in, example iPhone 13 and new qualifying line, $60 plus per month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees. For well-qualified customers, plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. $800 via virtual prepaid card. Card typically takes 15 days after rebate submission, no cash access, and card expires in 6 months. Check out in 15 minutes per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Join Cody and Gold live from 10 until 2 at International Tap House in the Crossroads this Thursday and Friday to watch the tournament games, along with our friends at Circus Sports. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Trey Smith from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to the Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
We are happy right now to be joined by, in my opinion, the best NFL draft analyst, Daniel Jeremiah, joins us on the show today with NFL Network. Daniel, happy to have you on the show today.
I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Let's start with this. Where do you think this year's draft is strong? Where do you think this year's draft is weak?
Yeah, for me, strength-wise, all the way through, I think it's a good wide receiver group. I don't know if we're ever going to see a group where we don't have depth there with the way the game's played right now. I think there's tremendous depth at the corner position as well. I think there's a sweet spot there in day two where you can find a bunch of really good corners, interior offensive linemen as well. I think there's a good group of guys that day two being strong there. Edge rusher, it's a very deep group. So those are some of the areas where I see a lot of strength and depth. The running back position is not deep. The quarterback position is not great. So those are two of the areas where I say we're a little bit light. And then, tight end wise, I think there's a lot of names and there's a lot of, intriguing guys as you get to day three, maybe later day two and into day three, but not a lot of guys in that, I don't think we see a bunch of tight ends going to roll off the board in the first, 60 picks.
I hear a lot of people calling this a weak draft class. You're the perfect person to ask this to. Is that perception stemming from the fact of this is not a great quarterback class, and the feeling is that next year it is going to be a great quarterback class? Is a lot of the perception about this year's draft and the overall quality of players, does that stem from there's only one quarterback everybody is talking about?
I think it's the premier position situation. So you got the one quarterback, but after that, I think there's a pretty steep drop off. So you start there, but it's not just that. If you're looking at the marquee positions, edge rusher, yeah, good, bunch of really good guys, and three guys to me worthy of going in the top 10. If you're going to go then after that, tackle-wise, premier position, there's not a Penei Sewell, there's not a Joe All, the Slater, any of these guys we've seen over the last several years. There's not a premier guy there. So that's a premier position. The receivers who I like that group and those top guys, and Carnell Tate's a good player, but there's not what we're going to see next year with the Jeremiah Smith. So some, corner-wise, good group of guys. I talked about the depth of it, but there's not a Stingley, there's not a Sauce Gardner, type. So those are a lot of the marquee positions where we don't have those premier, blue chip level players.
Right now, we're talking to Daniel Jeremiah at Move the Sticks on Twitter. He is with NFL Network. From my opinion, he is the best NFL draft analyst. Let's talk about pass rush. I believe that Arvell Reese is going to end up going number 2 overall to the Jets. We could see Ruben Bain go in the top 10. We also could see David Bailey go in the top 10. How would you break down those two prospects? Do you think either of them will be available at 9 when Kansas City selects?
I don't think Bailey will get there from the standpoint of the tape is just too good. He tested really well. He's super explosive. He's polished as a rusher. So not only you get the fastball and the legit juice off the edge, but he knows how to rush. So I'd have a hard time seeing him get there. Whereas Bain, and I love Bain. He's my 7th overall player. But, I could see, getting nitpicked a little bit because he's just not as long as you would like at that position. So it's a little bit of an outlier from that standpoint. I think he's going to be someone who can kick in and rush inside on sub downs, which is valuable. But, I don't think he's going to be a, 14, 15 sack guy. I think he's going to be a consistent, 9 to 10 to 11, who's dominant against the run and can kick inside and do some different things there. But I would think there's a chance he's there. And then I put Arvell Reese 2 to the Jets. That's where I'm kind of leaning that they would go there. But I wouldn't say that's 100%, lock it in, done deal there. Because I think if you're just looking purely as pass rushers, I think Bailey's a better rusher than him at this point in time.
When it comes to Ruben Bain Jr., how real is the arm length conversation? Is that a conversation that Scouts is having? Is that just something that on Twitter people are breaking down and discussing? Because when it came up a couple of weeks ago with the NFL Combine and they were showing some of the historical data and metrics, if the arm length stuff is true, that means he has to be an historic anomaly in order for things to work out. How real is the arm length conversation with Bain?
Yeah, a couple things. Yeah, it's real. It's a conversation, and I said it at the Combine on the broadcast about this is real. There's a reason why people care about arm length, and it's not just your ability to escape and get off blocks. It's your ability to finish, once you get to the quarterback and things like that. So it's a real concern. Now, the other side of it is the arm length measurements were jacked up at the Combine this year. They were different. They were significantly different in some cases from the Senior Bowl as well as, the spring stuff that teams had. So everybody's going to do their own measurements with these guys. So the numbers that you see reported out of the Combine, I don't know that everybody's taking those as the gospel, is what I'm getting at there. So it is what it is. It's going to be a factor. It's something they're going to discuss. But I think the combination of his arms actually being a little bit longer than they were measured in reality and the fact that his tape is so good, I can only see him dropping so far.
Right now, we're talking to Daniel Jeremiah going through the NFL draft. Let's move over to wide receiver. It seems like there's going to be 3 in the range for Kansas City with Carnell Tate, Kai Lemon, and also Jordan Tyson. How do you handicap those 3? And maybe more specifically directed towards the Chiefs, which one of those 3 guys do you think really rounds out their wide receiver room?
Well, I think they're all, good options there, and I would throw Omar Cooper Jr. in that mix as well. But, to me, Carnell Tate, I'm guessing, is probably going to be gone. But he's someone, I know he ran 4.53, but teams had him a little faster than that. He plays faster than that. He gives him some size and the ability to win as a 50-50 ball winner down the field. Vertical stretch to go along with someone who's just got an overall toughness that you love. Maikel Lemon would probably be the one that fits best for me, just because they've been a run after catch operation there. He does that extremely well. He catches everything. I think as Kelsey starts to phase out, you want somebody that's instinctive, that can find soft spots and just has a really good feel and sees things the way the quarterback sees things. I think that's a strength of Maikel Lemon. So he would probably be my favorite fit in with that group. And then Jordan Tyson is as gifted as anybody. To me, the durability stuff bothered me. Every year he's dealt with something. He wasn't healthy enough to do what he needed to do at the Combine, didn't do anything there. So, that's just in the first round, picking that high up, I feel a little more comfortable about somebody that I could rely on. And it, it's a real thing. Everybody say, oh, it's just the talent. Well, it doesn't matter. If you're not available, that's a problem. And it's been a consistent problem throughout his career. So I acknowledge him as a great player, someone who's worthy of going all the way up there. To me, there's just a little bit of the durability risk associated with it.
A lot of the conversations that we have on the show are about positional value, and everyone sees positional value very differently. I believe that Caleb Downs is the best player in this NFL draft class. If he was a corner, I think he would go number 2 overall. He's a safety, though, so I think that changes the conversation. Do you think the positional value is there to take him in the top 10?
Well, he's my 8th player, how I stacked him up, so that puts him in that range. Now, the hard thing with him, if you look at, if you're looking at where does he go, I did not have as high a grade on him as I had on Derwin James. I did not have as high a grade on him as I had on Kyle Hamilton. Those guys are much bigger, much rangier. They both made a lot more plays on college tape than he did. So you're talking about different body types and different production value with those guys, and they both fell outside the top 10. So, where does that place him? I still have him going at 10 to the Bengals. So it'll be an interesting case study. He's a really, really good player. Again, my 8th overall player. I think he's smart. I think he's tough. He's an outstanding tackler. He just doesn't make as many splash plays as some of those other safeties we've seen over the last few years. So it'll definitely be an interesting case study. I know in talking to coaches that have been around him at both places in terms of Alabama and Ohio State, they tell me that the things that you see are good, but the great stuff is what you don't see in terms of his mental capacity, his communication, his leadership, all those things I think are, where I think the sum can be greater than maybe the individual parts on a guy who's not, he's not 6 foot tall, he's not 220 pounds.
Daniel, in your most recent mock draft, you had Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah. You had him going 9 overall to the Chiefs. A lot of Chiefs fans were mad about that, and I get it. They want
a lot. How about all of them?
Yeah.
I think all of them were.
I mean, I was trying to make the case for right tackle. I'm a sports talk radio host. Sometimes you got to argue the other side. I want them to go wide receiver or pass rush, but I don't think that right tackle is a terrible thing to do. You are obviously plugged in. You're hearing this. You didn't just randomly create right tackle as a need for the Kansas City Chiefs. Why do you think he makes sense at 9 for Kansas City?
Well, we'll start first of all with the pass rusher side of that thing, because this is what is funny to me about mock drafts. We need a pass rusher. I'm like, well, okay, well, in this mock draft, the top 3 guys are gone. So do you want to take Mesidor? You want to take Mesidor with the 9th pick? Because to me, that's the next guy. I like him, but that coffee seems a little bit rich to me. And then, okay, receiver. Yeah, I get the receiver thing, but there's going to be a lot of value in receivers that you can get, littered throughout this draft. And then I look at it, and I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I don't think Jalen Moore is very good. So to me, that's a concern. And I know there was an investment made there, but I'm not a believer. So to me, I think that Fano is a major upgrade over him at right tackle. I think that's that's having worked with Andy Reid and knowing what the importance he places on that on the offensive line. I think you got to be honest about things and say, do you think he's good enough? And I also go back to, I've been in the draft room when Andy Reid's talked about his connection with coaches in college and how that has carried a lot of weight with him, whether it was with, his good relationship with Sark, and, we had a player we took in Philadelphia higher than we had him graded because he put a lot of stock and value into Sark's opinion there. And I know the connection with Whittingham and the fact his son's on the staff as well. I think he's going to get a very glowing report on Spencer Fano, and I think he's a better player than the guy they have playing right tackle. So that's why I went there.
The argument that I made on the show is, and I'm curious if you agree or disagree, is for 3 years, I heard people say, hey, you got to protect the quarterback. You got $1 billion invested in your quarterback. You got to protect the quarterback. The logic to me with right tackle is we have our left and our right tackle, we feel like, for the next 10 years. We've got our center for the next 10 years. We also have invested heavily in right guard. This is a move to me that if the Chiefs went right tackle, this would be them trying to build the best offensive line in the National Football League. That's not terrible logic to me. That's not terrible value, especially as you have in your mock drafts, if that pass rusher's not there, if Carnell Tate isn't there. I'd rather have the best right tackle than have Caleb Downs just off positional value. That was the argument that I made on the show yesterday.
Yeah, and the other argument I would make is, look, where they're picking right now, they're in all likelihood not going to be picking here. They haven't picked here in a long time. I don't anticipate they're going to be picking up here anytime soon. And if you look at around the league and you look at starting tackles, the vast majority of them are first-round picks. That's a shallow pool each and every year, and they always go higher than you think. So if you're planning on picking in the bottom of the first round for the next 6 years, you're not going to see a player this talented at that point in time. Last year was an anomaly because Josh Simmons had, he had health stuff. There was, other concerns involved there. Talent-wise, he was more talented than, where he was picked. But that you can't count on that going forward. So to me, it was an opportunity for them to get an outstanding talent at that position, knowing full well that you're probably not going to be picking in this range anytime soon.
I'll get you out of here with this last thing. When you look at the 2022 Chiefs draft, I mean, it's just loaded with starters. And that draft was very foundational in this organization continuing to win Super Bowls. When you look at where the Chiefs select, when you look at their needs, what are the things that you are saying to yourself as somebody who does mock drafts? They have to come out of the draft with this thing. What are those things that you feel they have to go find in this year's draft?
Well, to me, it's continuing to replace the secondary. They had some good pieces in place, that allowed them, to make the McDuffie trade, to let Cook walk away. You bring in Aloy Gilman. I like, you haven't been around him when he's with the Chargers, a solid player. But I think continuing to build that out, I'm a believer in Noah Williams. They've got some good pieces there, but building that secondary out is part of it. To me, along that defensive front, I'd like to see him continue to add some big guys as down players. If you can mix in a pass rusher, would be high on my list. So, continue to throw resources at that on the defensive side of the ball. If you come out of this draft with an edge rusher you feel good about, you've added 1 to 2 good pieces to that secondary. Those would be probably the 3 spots I would love to, be able to check those boxes once the draft is over. And there's still plenty of ammunition outside that to address the receiver position and maybe even eventually find Kelsey's replacement. So they've got a to-do list that's a little bit longer, but in terms of the secondary, this is a team and a secondary coach, and Dave Merritt's as good as it gets, that, they're going to be able to get the best out of their guys, and they can do that on day 3.
That is Daniel Jeremiah joining us on the show at Move the Sticks Online. He is also the host of the Move the Sticks podcast. He is also an analyst with the NFL Network. Daniel, I mean it when I say it. I think you are the absolute best when it comes to the NFL draft. Really happy to have you on today to talk about the 9th overall pick. Really appreciate your time.
I appreciate you fighting the good fight for me on Fano there. Man, I got crushed. The Chiefs were angry. The fans were angry, and I appreciate you fighting the good fight for me on that one.
You know what I say, Daniel? Sometimes it is just your turn. Yesterday with Chiefs fans, it was your turn. Tomorrow, it might be your turn with Dolphins fans. You never know.
No, it's all good. It's a fun exercise, and it does cause you to think and to look at things, so I appreciate it.
Rob, let's have a little bit of a tackle conversation. I'm going to throw this question out there, and we'll do it in the next segment. What is the argument against right tackle? Like, why not right tackle? Because I can present the argument for right tackle. I don't really think the argument why it is a good idea is that hard to put together. I agree. Hearing it from Daniel Jeremiah, who is getting tweets from all over the country about the Chiefs, seeing the text line, seeing the reaction when we discussed it yesterday, Rob, people are very against the idea of the Chiefs drafting an offensive lineman with the 9th overall pick. I'll give you more of my argument why coming up in the next segment, but I want to get the text line full, 913-586-7965. Why is right tackle a bad idea for Kansas City with the 9th overall pick? So we'll get to that in a little bit. I just want to go ahead and start that conversation now. We'll have it fully in about 5 minutes or so. We just don't have enough time to do that right now with the break. I will say this, Rob, a thing that was very, very interesting to me, I guess once on a side note, is the measurement thing makes absolutely no sense to me. I do not get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why there is not an industry standard for what measuring is. We have an industry standard on the 40-yard dash. We have an industry standard on the bench press. We have an industry standard on finding out what your vertical leap is. How we have different measurements just makes absolutely no sense to me when we are talking about NFL prospects and that we are talking about investing tens of millions of dollars into these players. Does not make any sense to me. That is their problem to figure out. I'm going to keep being confused. That's number one. Number two, very interesting what he said about Jalen Moore. Very interesting. Now, I know what the argument is going to be. I know it. I feel like at this stage in his career, if Jalen Moore was that guy, teams would be trying a lot harder to make him a starter than what he is. And I don't know. I just feel like it's always been a convenient, well, this isn't why you started. Well, there's 2 tackle positions. It's not like it's quarterback. where only one person can do it. There's a left and a right. He couldn't get on the field consistently in San Francisco. And then after believing that he was going to be the option in Kansas City, they then immediately had him be a backup for them. So what if what Daniel Jeremiah is saying is true? I mean, that wouldn't be the first time. I mean, they signed Elijah Mitchell and then ended up not liking Elijah Mitchell. I know what they're telling you about Christian Fulton. They did not like Christian Fulton until the final 3 games of the season when they were eliminated. We've seen them sign guys and then immediately kind of fall out of love with them. What if that is the case with Jalen Moore? Because last year, they drafted a rookie over him, and it didn't matter how many penalties. Jawan Taylor still doesn't have a job. I don't care about Pro Football Focus. He is still available. So other teams are seeing what something was wrong with him last year. And Jalen Moore still couldn't beat out that guy last year. What if what Daniel Jeremiah is saying is true? They do not like Jalen Moore as much as we think they potentially like Jalen Moore, and they are ready to go in a completely different direction, and sometimes you just got to eat your mistake. So that is my question, 913-586-7965. Why not right tackle? Because I'll present the argument for why. We'll do that next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Are you looking for a podcast about pro football that doesn't put you to sleep with an avalanche of analytics or insult your fandom with brainless hot takes? Well, hi. I'm Dan Hansis.
And I'm Mark Sessler.
Oh, hi, Mark. And we're the hosts of Heed the Call, the NFL podcast you've been waiting your whole life for.
Heed the Call covers every game, every storyline, everything that matters, and we do it all with a touch of mirth.
Football is fun. Why shouldn't your football podcast be the same?
Follow and listen to Heed the Call NFL podcast wherever you get your podcast.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Xfinity Tech Support. Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
I want to be clear. I want the Chiefs to draft either a pass rusher at number 9 or a wide receiver at number 9. But I think there is a chance that they draft an offensive lineman. I really believe that Daniel Jeremiah is the best NFL draft analyst that is out there. He has them projected to take an offensive lineman. Now, I don't know how the draft board is going to go. You don't know how the draft board is going to go. But there is a chance that David Bailey is off the board. There is a chance that Reuben Bain Jr. is off the board. There is not another pass rusher to take with the 9th overall pick if you are considering the value of how people are projecting these things. There is at 29. There is not with the 9th overall pick. Now, wide receiver is a little bit different. I would draft a wide receiver. I would try to go find wide receiver number 1 for your quarterback. That's what I would do. But I could very easily, I think, make the argument for right tackle. Rob, I now feel like we are living in like a alternate universe, and I don't think it's a bad thing. But Rob, I remember last year where you and I were saying, I wouldn't give Trey Smith this money. And the entire argument was, well, you got to protect the investment. You got to protect him. Now people are making the exact opposite argument when it comes to why you would spend that investment on a right tackle. So that is just an alternate universe to me. I can't believe we are at this place where last year we were being called negative for saying, hey, I don't know if spending all that money on right guard is a good idea. I would maybe spend this money elsewhere. So that is one thing that I'm tripped up about, but I will get over that at some point. So I highlighted these 2 texts because I think they are very good texts. I asked you guys, hey, what is the argument against drafting an offensive tackle? Because I think I can present the argument of why you would draft an offensive line tackle. The same argument that they will never get a pass rusher with this ability. The same argument that you will not find a wide receiver, or you also can make that same argument about offensive linemen. You don't get great offensive tackles usually where they select. If you have the 28th overall pick, you are not getting a premium position. Now, I would disagree with this point. Someone sent in, My argument against offensive tackle is simple. Resources are not unlimited, and the Chiefs have already invested so much in its O-line. Right tackle is no higher than the third most premium position across the O-line. And when using a top 10 pick to fill that need when you need actual playmakers on the roster is just not a wise investment. I don't think that right tackle is no higher than third. I think it is 1B. I think in 2026, your right tackle is as equally as important as your left tackle. There's just too many good pass rushers in the National Football League now. Like if you're playing Houston, for example, they got dogs on both sides. If you're playing Denver, for example, they got dogs on both sides, on both the left and right side of it. So I don't honestly think there is that much of a difference in 2026 between your left tackle and your right tackle with the way that guys are moving around. So I think it is a 1A, 1B. I'm certainly not arguing that center is more important than right tackle, not the way the game is played and not with how many good pass rushers there are in the National Football League. Your quarterback is dropping back 30, 40 times, having those two things solidified. If they go right tackle, you will have your, what people perceive, you have your left tackle for, you would guess, the rest of Patrick Mahomes' prime, the rest of his career, right? That's the hope. That's the expectation. You have left tackle figured out. You have center figured out, in theory, for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. You would then potentially have right tackle figured out for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career. If you want to talk about building and creating the foundation for your offense, you have your foundation right there. Left tackle, center, right tackle, quarterback. And you are building your offense for the next 5 to 7 years, or however long Patrick Mahomes is here, however long you think that is going to be. You have that foundation, that pillar to build on for the foreseeable future. I do not think that is a bad play. And if you were going to make the argument, too, about limited resources, you cannot argue then to spend the 9th overall pick on a safety. You cannot make that argument to me. If you were telling me right tackle is not important enough to spend with the number 9 overall pick, you cannot be telling me that safety is that important, too. If the Chiefs thought that much about safety, the opposite. So Kyle Hamilton was the all-pro safety this past year. The other all-pro safety was available, and he got a 1-year, $6 million deal. Safety is always available in the draft. Always available in free agency. So you can't spend the 9th overall pick on safety too. Again, I am not telling you this is what I would do, but I don't think it is that hard. And I will not be angry if on the 9th overall pick, the Chiefs spend it on an offensive lineman. I think the logic is actually very, very sound on why they would spend the 9th overall pick on right tackle.
I think me and you are actually closer here than most people think. I don't know I'd be angry at right tackle, but I'd be frustrated because I do think the argument against it is poor allocation of resources. Because, and you mentioned it, you're right, it's very rare that elite tackles are available in the late 20s, early second round. Like, elite tackles are like elite edge rushers. They're not usually available at the end of the draft. But we perceive that this is going to be a one and only top 10 pick with the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. If they're back in the top 10 with Patrick Mahomes, that they probably have a new coach and a new GM. So they need to get one of the premium players. And I don't think right tackle is a non-premium. I just think it's down the list. And edge rusher is higher. Corner is higher.
I agree with those
wide receiver
things.
Is higher. So
but
if I get...
I actually don't know about wide receiver for this reason. This is why I don't know if I 100% agree, even though I want another wide receiver.
Now, you're saying you or the Chiefs? Because I actually think...
Both. This would be my argument is, what's their wide receiver room look like in 2027? It's uncertainty, right?
One guy right now, right? It's just Xavier Worthy.
It's uncertainty. Who's their right tackle in 2027? I would also say that it is uncertainty.
That's fair.
I would say that you have a chance, if you draft right tackle, you have a chance to never have this conversation again. You have a chance to never have it again. You got your left tackle, you got your center, you got your right tackle, you got your quarterback. Those are the three players you have made. You are going to invest in those players, and you are going to move forward and trying to build the absolute best offensive line possible. I think some of this, I think it's a small part of it. I think some of this stems from the public doesn't trust Brett Veach to hit on mid-round picks as skill position players. They don't trust them to hit on those. Other teams can hit on third-round running backs. I've seen it before. Other teams can hit on third and fourth round wide receivers, and they end up being phenomenal players. A team did not use the 9th overall pick to go get Amon-Ra St. Brown. A team did not use Jordan Addison, for example, was a late first round pick. You don't need to have those be the premium draft picks. I don't think the public trusts that Veach can find them outside of the number 9 overall pick. I think that also fuels this conversation as well. Like, you need wide receiver on a tee. It's not that hard to draft the second best wide receiver. It's kind of hard to draft who people think is the 13th best receiver in the draft class and then turn them into the best receiver in that class. Other teams have the ability to do it. The Chiefs don't. At least they have not shown that so far. So that's where I think the conversation comes from. I told you guys this yesterday. I mean, them drafting a right tackle is not cool. It will be better for the show. It will be more entertaining, more topics, more storylines if they go elsewhere. But I disagree with this. Someone on the text line says, our rushing attack stinks. I would say they improved some of that. We have little to no cornerback play. Our wide receiver room is somewhere between weak and a legal lineup from a disaster. Our right tackle is our 6th need. I don't know if not having a plan in 2027 makes it your 6th need. I would agree they have 2 bigger needs than right tackle, 100%. We all are on the same page about corner, 1,000%. We all are on the same page about pass rush. I'm 100% with you. If they took a right tackle over David Bailey, I would be furious if that was the case. If they took a right tackle over Ruben Bain, if the measurements, I would be furious about that. It would not make sense to me. But I think right tackle is a bigger need than people are willing to acknowledge with this team. I think it is a bigger need. I think it is a bigger need for the future of the organization. They're going to have to figure it out at some point in the next 12 months of who their right tackle of the future is going to be. And I do think there is a chance that Jalen Moore is not as good as we think he is. I think there is a chance of that being the case. So for an organization who has shown you they will spare no expense in trying to put big bodies in front of their quarterback, it would not surprise me. Not at all. It would not surprise me in the least bit if they go out and make a move to go pick up a right tackle. It would not surprise me. Coming up on the other side, we'll talk a little bit of college basketball. Rob and I are on the complete opposite end when it comes to Darren Peterson. I'll tell you why next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com.
This afternoon, expect mostly sunny skies with a high of 67.
Weather brought to you by Staples. From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now in-store and online. Staples. That was easy.
Shop the Sherwin-Williams Spring Sale and get 35% off paints and stains March 13th through the 23rd. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Right now, FanDuel's dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use those FanDuel bonus bets on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. So make sure you visit FanDuel.com/local to opt in for bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/local to learn more about bonus bets for the tournament. Maybe you want to take a shot on one of these teams to go from a game in Dayton, Ohio to win multiple games in the tournament. Or you're feeling pretty good about any of the teams in the Big 12 Conference. FanDuel, it's time to dance. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Man, your yard looks great. Who does that for you, Gunther?
It's Gunter, no H.
You sure it's not Gunther?
Listen, we've been with Gunter for years. They take care of our lawn with 7 annual applications. We're weed-free and have a lusher, thick, green lawn. Trust me, it's Gunter.
No matter how you say it, we've been helping Kansas City homeowners improve their yards for decades. For greener, thicker lawns, it's Gunter.
I'm pretty sure it's Gunther.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Some things just go together, like peanut butter and jelly, or a Casey's spicy chicken sandwich and a 49-cent medium fountain drink, or a Casey's breakfast sandwich and a 49-cent fountain drink, or even Casey's limited-time hot ham and Swiss sliders and a 49-cent fountain drink. You get the idea. It's not crazy. It's Casey's. See store for details.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your sports IQ to work on the games you know best. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. Buy or sell your predictions all game long. Trade every play with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Wendy's has a new Girl Scout Thin Mints Frosty Fusion with Girl Scout Thin Mints cookie pieces, rich creamy frosty, and a mint chocolate cookie sauce. Which means Girl Scout Thin Mints and Wendy's Frosty, yeah, they're basically best friends now. It's like two delicious desserts just high-fived, snapped a few too many friendship selfies, and then rode a tandem bike down a never-ending road of mint chocolate frosty perfection. So, swing by Wendy's and try the new Thin Mints Frosty Fusion.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Go to 965thefan.com for your chance to win an X-Family instant ticket, plus a shot at winning 4 Diamond Club seats to the K, all powered by the Kansas Lottery. Listen to the Royals opener in Atlanta against the Braves, Friday, March 27th, with Vern's On Deck show starting at 5. First pitch just after 6. All right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I know that you guys are going to consider this hate. I'm simply arguing the numbers. That's what I'm doing. I'm arguing the numbers. I'm arguing the production. Now, you guys are going to hear this as a Missouri fan trying to throw hate, and that's okay. But again, I'm here arguing the numbers. I'm here arguing the production. Everybody is mad at Andy Katz. You guys remember Andy Katz, college basketball guy, used to work at ESPN. I actually don't know where he works now. He made a list. He made a list of the top 10 players in the NCAA tournament. He did not include Darren Peterson. Twitter was angry. Everybody yelling, screaming, mad. This list is stupid. It's invalid because you don't have Darren Peterson on the list. Rob came in hot and bothered. This was the number one thing he wanted to talk about today when we were doing our pre-show meeting. I can't believe Andy Katz. I looked at Rob and I said, the list is correct. Rob walked out of the room in the middle of our conversation. Walked out. Came back. We kept talking about it. I said, let's talk about it on the air. Let's talk about it on the air. This would be my argument against Darren Peterson. At what point are we going to talk about the way that he is playing? Because I feel like with Darren Peterson, it is always speaking in a future sense of if and when he gets hot. Rob, there is no tomorrow. If Kansas loses one more game, Darren Peterson's college basketball career is over. Since February, Darren Peterson is shooting 37% from the floor. Since February, Darren Peterson is shooting 33% from 3. He is shooting 41% from 2s. Rob, let me ask you a question. Do you know how many assists Darren Peterson has since February? Just how many times he has passed the ball to a teammate and his teammate scored a basket. Do you know how many assists that is? That is over an 11-game span. So not a small sample size. Over an 11-game sample. Do you know how many assists Darren Peterson has in his last 11 games?
It's like 40, right? Something like in the 40s?
He has 17 assists. Think about that. Rob, you are a Kansas basketball season ticket holder. You follow this team. That Kansas basketball is your favorite team. Rob, he has 17 assists in his last 11 games. Darren Peterson does not make anybody on Kansas better based on that number right there. It is not like he is passing the ball to Melvin Council and he is scoring. He is not passing the ball to Flory and Flory. He has 17 assists in 11 games. He is not shooting well. I gave you the numbers. 37% from the floor, 33% from three, and he does not make other teammates better right now. I am sorry. Yes, he might be the first overall pick in the NBA draft. He might be the second overall pick in the NBA draft. Right now, the way that this version of Darren Peterson is playing, he is not one of the 10 best players in the NCAA tournament. I'm sorry, he's not.
So, I, first and foremost, vehemently disagree. I agree with you on this, though. I don't think he is playing great basketball recently. He's just not making shots. He was sold
That's
as an
really important because he doesn't do anything else.
Except for he's still scoring at a pretty high level despite
he gets to the free throw line for sure. He gets to the free throw line.
I'm looking at his game logs. He had 27 against K-State. He had 24 against TCU. He had 24 against Arizona. Yeah, he's not making shots, and he's still scoring near 25 a night in his last 3 of his last 5 games. So, yeah, is he a great passer? No. Is he shooting the ball well? Absolutely not. But he's still finding a way to score 25-plus in these last couple of games. Like that, there's a value in that. There are not many players in college basketball that fill it up like that.
I agree with you. I would just make the argument of if Darren Peterson doesn't score, they don't really have a whole lot of other guys on Kansas that can score. They only got 5 guys on the team. But somebody has to score on the I'm not telling you that Darren Peterson can't play. But I'm telling you the numbers say he cannot shoot and he does not pass the basketball. 2 very important things about basketball. We're also not calling him a lockdown defender. You're not saying that you can put him on the best player on the other team and you feel like he can shut him down on the other side. Darren Peterson's not playing well. And I feel like we have talked so much about cramps and so much about injuries and so much about these other things. And yeah, he's going to turn it on when it gets to March. March was in the Big 12 tournament. He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat for 2 straight days. Now I think that guy is turning into I don't know if that player exists right now. I don't know if he exists.
See, I think what you're doing is you're using 2 metrics to ding Darren. And I'm not saying he's 1, but top 10 right now, he averages 19.9 a game this season.
I'd rather have all of these players right now than the version of Darren Peterson that is currently playing. I'm saying the version that is playing, not what we think when he's fully healthy. I'm sure he will have.
I don't think we've ever seen him fully healthy at Kansas. He's still averaging 20 a night.
I'm with you. I'm looking at it right now. You cannot tell me that you think that Darren Peterson's better than Keaton Wagler right now. You cannot make that argument. It's not based on anything. It's not based on how they're playing. You cannot make the argument that he's been better than Kingston Flemings. You cannot. So I'm saying is, I would look at this list. I mean, the top 8 to me, I don't even know how you could kind of argue the list. Like, they only got 1 player from Arizona on this list. I'm sorry. Koa Pete is playing better than Darren Peterson is playing right now. That Barry's kid is playing better than Darren Peterson is playing right now. He'd be the 4th best player on this Arizona team the way that he is currently playing.
I mean, I would take him over Braden Smith. Joshua Jefferson, come on now. Darren Peterson is better than Joshua Jefferson. And the kid from Gonzaga, there's absolutely no way on earth you would take the Gonzaga kid over Darren Peterson.
I've maybe seen that kid play one time. I can't even comment on his game. I ain't gonna lie to you.
By the way, I know that everyone talks about, Darren Peterson only scores, da-da-da-da. His player efficiency rating is 25.9, and points per 40 is 27.9 per game. He is an elite scorer of the basketball.
Well, this Graham Ike kid is shooting 58% from the floor. Now, he's also playing in the West Coast Conference, so baskets are coming in. Right now, if we are evaluating Darren Peterson's game, I would say right now he does 2 things. He takes a lot of shots, and he gets to the free throw line. That right now is all he does at a high level. He takes a lot of shots. For a college player, relatively speaking.
I hear you're saying.
He takes a lot of shots, and yes, he gets to the free throw line. He gets there somewhere between 8 to 10 times a game. He does not really do a whole lot else for Kansas right now. He doesn't shoot it well.
Right now,
I
mean, he could.
Right now, that's all that matters. Is the tournament starts Friday for Kansas. That's all that matters is right now. It doesn't matter how he's going to shoot in June. He ain't going to be on the team in June. He's going to be on the Wizards in June. It matters how he's shooting today.
It also could be a poor 4-game stretch, and he breaks out of it tomorrow. Or Friday, excuse me. That could happen.
He absolutely could break out of it. You're right. He could break out of it.
You're diminishing the free throw thing like it's just like, oh, ho-hum. I just saw the NBA give the MVP to a guy whose best trait is what? Getting to the free throw line.
Let's not do that with Shea. Come on now. Let's not do that with Shea.
We did a whole show last week about how Bam Adebayo scored 83 points.
Let's not do that with Shea.
What did he do? Get to the free throw line. You're actually getting the free throw line is just, well, it happens to everyone. If you're doing it at an elite level, you're an elite player.
Yeah, but the difference is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is shooting 55% from the field this season. Darren Peterson is shooting 37% from the field. So, yes, if you don't foul Shea, he's got a 55% chance of making, Rob, he's not even making 2-pointers at a high pace. He's shooting 40% from 2. These are mid-range shots and layups. He's not hitting those at a high percentage right now. I can't ignore those numbers right now. So, yeah, we can compare him to Shea. You're right. Shea does a great job at getting to the line. Shea also does other things. Shea averages 7 assists a game. Darren ain't averaging 7 assists a game. He rebounds. Darren ain't rebounding for this Kansas team. Over that same stretch in his last 11 games, he has 40 rebounds. He don't rebound. He don't pass. He doesn't shoot it well. Oh, you got to start looking at the numbers with Darren Peterson. I promise you I'm not hating. I see the text line, 913-586-7965. I promise you I'm not. I'm looking at the numbers. And that's the kid that's taking the court on Friday. So there's no question he will have a great day against California Baptist. You're just more athletic than all of these kids. Yes, he will go out there. He will probably play well against them. They got St. John's on Sunday. Are you confident he's going to play well? Because I'm saying is, they're throwing bodies at him. That's a team that will purposely try to take Darren Peterson out of the game. St. John's could not take A.J. DeBanst out of the game. He would still score 25 against him and be pretty efficient in doing it. St. John's would not take Cam Boozer out of the game. Do you think they can take Darren Peterson out of the game? Because if they take Darren Peterson out of the game, Kansas is losing. That's my argument for the game. I mean, I'm picking St. John's to win that game. I don't think Kansas is tough enough to beat a team like St. John's. I've seen them get pushed around by too many of those kinds of teams. I just saw them get pushed around a couple of nights ago by Houston, who smacked them up in front of everybody in their home gym, the home adjacent gym. They need Darren Peterson to start playing significantly better for me to believe in Kansas the way that I think people are trying to sell themselves on this Kansas team. They need a much more efficient, much better version of Darren Peterson than they are getting. Coming up on the other side, we'll get back to NFL free agency. We'll get back to the Chiefs. Keep it right here. So Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Coming to Kansas City, the NAIA Men's College Basketball Championship. 16 teams, 15 games, 6 days, 1 national champion. The NAIA Men's College Basketball Championship at Municipal Auditorium, March 19th through 24th. Non-stop college basketball action at a ticket price good enough to bring the whole family. Get your tickets now at NAIAHoops.com.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Taking a look at the big college basketball tournament futures market to win it all: Duke, the favorite, plus 325, Arizona, plus 350, Michigan, plus 375, and Florida at plus 700. And I think that pricing is correct. I think Florida is the worst of the top seeds. Florida's guard play exposed in the conference tournament against Vandy. Florida might have to see Vandy in the round of 16, would have to see Houston or Illinois in the round of 8. So if you're looking for one of these top seeds to get bounced early, I would take a look at Florida losing before getting to the end of the tournament. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
March matchups are here, and Kelsey's giving away $1 billion for a perfect bracket. No one's ever done it. The odds are about 1 in 9.2 quintillion. Kelsey's also giving $1 million to the top bracket and $1 million to charity. It's free to enter, no deposit or purchase required. Entries now open and close before the round of 64 tips Thursday. Download the app or visit Kelsey.com to read the full rules and enter. Use code THEFAN when you sign up. Eligibility requirements apply. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Not available outside the United States, in New York, or Florida. Contest is not endorsed or associated with the NCAA. Official rules apply. See Kelsey.com/$1 billion bracket for more information.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER. Join Cody and Gold live from 10 until 2 at International Tap House in the Crossroads this Thursday and Friday to watch the tournament games, along with our friends at Circa Sports. You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, two-car crash in the Triangle, 71 southbound at Bannister. Left lane is blocked. Just before that, you do have a stall block in the right lane, 71 southbound past 85th. Overland Park, that's a stall. 35 southbound at 87th, right lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
Text line is very angry at me for my Darren Peterson stance. That happens. C-Dot, your KU hate is shining hard today. Peterson is a very above-average defender, and the assist stat is cherry-picked. Watch the games. Nobody on the team is shooting well, including Flory. He finds guys open shots. They just haven't been falling. How can you say the kid on Arizona, the Burries kid, is better than Darren Peterson? He wasn't even in the game late in the Big 12 championship. How would you take him? I would like to point out that in the Big 12 championship, Braden Berries scored 21 points on 60% shooting, did not miss a free throw, and led Arizona in scoring en route to scoring a championship against Houston. You want to know what Houston did to Darren Peterson the night before? Padlock. That's what it was. Padlock on Darren Peterson the night before. Could not function against Houston. I'm not telling you Darren Peterson can't play. He obviously can play. At some point with him, we have to talk about how he is playing now and not how we think he is going to play. We are here. It is March. The NCAA tournament is here. Tomorrow, the ball will be tipped, and your bracket will be live. There is no tomorrow. There is no asking out of games. There is no, I'm sick. This is about buckets. He has 17 assists since February 1. 17. He's averaging 1 a night. 1.5 a night for Kansas. I'm sorry. He's the way he is playing right now, he is not one of the 10 best players, in my opinion, entering the NCAA tournament. Can he get hot? Can he turn things on? Yeah, he's a very skilled, very, very talented player. At some point, we got to start talking about what he is doing right now, and he is not shooting the ball well at all for Kansas. He doesn't rebound for them, and he doesn't create opportunities for other players. It's a problem heading into the NCAA tournament. Let's talk a little bit more basketball here, Robin. Then we'll get to free agency. Then we'll get to the NFL draft. We had Daniel Jeremiah on the show. We had Ken Palm on the show yesterday. Today, we have the remaining 2 first 4 games. I don't know who's playing in the 16 matchup. I don't know if I need to know who's playing in the 16s matchup. But we do have Miami of Ohio. They are going up against SMU. Everybody loves Miami of Ohio. Here's what Ken Palm had to say yesterday.
I have a little bit of hope for Miami, I will say. Like, historically, so it's obviously unusual. I think this is the biggest point spread for a first 4 game in the history of the first 4. But you know, like the biggest point spread in like a 6-11 game, I believe, was BYU Duquesne like 2 years ago, and Duquesne won that game like fairly easily. And then there was like the Iowa Richmond game maybe 3 or 4 years ago, which was also a big point spread. I think in a 5-12 game, and Richmond won that game outright. So I'm not giving up on Miami. I certainly wouldn't pick them to win it outright, but I'm not that high. I don't know what people see necessarily in SMU. And I think Miami's obviously going to have plenty of motivation and a chip on their shoulder. Obviously less talent, and that's ultimately a problem. But we'll see what happens. If they get run out of the gym, I mean, oh man, are the knives going to be out for the mid-majors after that?
I firmly believe that the public is rooting for Miami of Ohio. They are the Cinderella heading into this. Now, there could be a Cinderella that emerges, but if you've been following college basketball, you have certainly heard the conversations that have been had about Miami of Ohio the last 2 weeks, and I think the public wants to see them do well, and the public wants to see them advance. They wanted their shot. They have a shot. I think they should be a 10 seed. I think they should already be in the tournament. I don't think they should have to play their way into the tournament, but you are here. SMU is an okay basketball team. They are not great. They are not a contender. I don't think many people think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here. That's certainly not the 11 seed that I think people are going to pick. I think that was going to come from the Texas or NC State game. We'll see how that team looks coming up in the NCAA tournament. But, yeah, I mean, tonight's about Miami of Ohio and sort of validation. And it is unfair that their entire season feels like it will be boiled down to one game. But we know how this goes. If they win, they will prove everybody right. Hey, you guys were wrong for the way you talked about them. You should have put them in the NCAA tournament. If they lose today, or especially if they lose the way that Vegas thinks they're going to lose, I mean, Vegas thinks they are going to get handled in this game. If they get handled, it will be a lot of I told you so. And I think the mission, I think, is I want more of these teams in the NCAA tournament. I hate the fact that we spent the last 3 weeks arguing about Auburn and why they should or shouldn't be in the NCAA tournament. And that Bruce Pearl arguing for his son, it was nonsense. Nobody wants them in the tournament. We want teams like Miami of Ohio in the NCAA tournament. They will hurt the cause. They will be a knock to the mission, Rob, if they lose this game coming up later today. That is just how we do with these one-game sample sizes, which is the NCAA tournament.
Do you think it's a win or lose proposition, or do you think it's like a style points thing? Like, let's say Miami, Ohio loses tonight, but they lose the way NC State lost last night. Texas scored a game-winning bucket with like 2.6 left on the clock. They win 68-64. Everyone's happy, but NC State gave them a battle all the way down to the final 10 seconds. That game almost went to overtime. If Miami, Ohio loses tonight because SMU drills a bucket with 5 seconds to go and Miami, Ohio loses, do you think people will still say they were a fraud, or is it just strictly win or lose? I do think there's some nuance there where if Miami, Ohio competes, I think maybe we would view their season a lot differently.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think really the only scenario with the nuance is they have to lose in a somewhat heartbreaking fashion. If it's a close basketball game and they lose on a last-second three, I don't think there's going to be a lot of finger pointing. But if SMU covers the spread, and the spread is, 7.5, 8.5, like it has been moving this time. If they end up getting beat by double digits today, a lot of people are going to say, see, I told you. This team shouldn't have made the NCAA tournament. They took a spot from a team that was much more deserving. If they had played a regular, normal schedule, they're not even close to it. That will absolutely be the conversation. It does feel like, and maybe this is just the sports environment that we have created, I don't know if there's going to be much of a gray area unless there's a crazy March buzzer beater great game. They either win and prove everybody, I guess, right, or you lose and also prove everybody right. That's kind of where we are right now with Miami of Ohio.
I also think they're, to your point about it kind of being a lose-lose, I think even if Miami, Ohio wins, let's say they beat SMU tonight. It's not impossible to believe. SMU is extremely mid. Like just
yeah, they're a very average basketball team.
The definition of mid. I don't remember offhand what 6 seed they face on Friday if they win the night. But let's say they win the night and go get boat raced by a 6 seed on Friday. I think the exact same people that are waiting tonight to tell you that Miami, Ohio is a fraud are just going to wait 48 hours. So, like, I think unless Miami, Ohio does something, like, really special, like maybe make the Sunday games or, heaven forbid, make the second weekend, I think people are excited. They're trigger happy tonight to be like, see, big fraud alert. Cinderella shouldn't be a thing, blah, 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 blah. I think it's kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't tonight for Miami, Ohio. It's just a matter of when those people get their knives out.
I want to play this audio for you guys. Earlier today, we had Daniel Jeremiah on the show. For my money, I think he is the best NFL draft analyst that is out there. We asked him about Caleb Downs and the positional value. Is it there to take him in the top 10? Here's what Daniel Jeremiah said.
If you look at, if you're looking at where does he go, I did not have as high a grade on him as I had on Derwin James. I did not have as high a grade on him as I had on Kyle Hamilton. Those guys are much bigger, much rangier. They both made a lot more plays on college tape than he did. So you're talking about different body types and different production value with those guys, and they both fell outside the top 10. So, where does that place him? I still have him going at 10 to the Bengals. So it'll be an interesting case study. He's a really, really good player. Again, my 8th overall player. I think he's smart. I think he's tough. He's an outstanding tackler. He just doesn't make as many splash plays as some of those other safeties we've seen over the last few years. So it'll definitely be an interesting case study. I know in talking to coaches that have been around him at both places in terms of Alabama and Ohio State, they tell me that the things that you see are good, but the great stuff is what you don't see in terms of his mental capacity, his communication, his leadership, all those things I think are, where I think the sum can be greater than maybe the individual parts on a guy who's not, he's not 6 foot tall. He's not 220 pounds.
That was interesting, I thought, when it came to Daniel Jeremiah. I would have guessed, I just would have guessed. I would have guessed that he got a comparable grade to Derwin James. I would have also guessed that he got a comparable grade to Kyle Hamilton. Daniel Jeremiah said that he did not get the same grade as those two players. If that's the case, then you definitely cannot take him with 9. Now, you could still be those players, even though you didn't grade out to be those guys. But if you were telling me that you don't think he's the same prospect that Derwin James was or Kyle Hamilton, he is then not worth the 19th or the 9th overall pick. He's worth like the 19th overall pick. If you're taking a safety in the top 10, you need to be unquestionably the best player at your position. Just given the positional value. I think there was a time that Derwin James was the best safety in the league. He just couldn't stay healthy there for a time. there certainly is a conversation right now that Kyle Hamilton's the best safety in the league. I think he's the best safety in the league. If you're telling me that you are not certain that that Caleb Downs is going to be the best safety in the league, you cannot take him with the 9th overall pick.
It was a point that I had not considered until Daniel Jeremiah said it. Like, we've always used the Kyle Hamilton comparison for Caleb Downs. Caleb Downs is significantly smaller than Kyle Hamilton. Derwin James, another good example. Caleb Downs is significantly smaller. He basically has, it's not the exact same. He's basically in Trent McDuffie's body while playing safety. So while he was a freak show playmaker at Ohio State, I do wonder if he's going to get dinged in the league relative because he's so small. I would still be interested. I still think he's a great football player, but I understand why you would ding him for being a top 10 pick based on what he did.
And I love Caleb Downs. I thought it is not very often that you come in as a true freshman at a program like Alabama and dominate the way that he did. He then hit the transfer portal. He then went to Ohio State. And I think you could argue he has been the best defensive player in college football in consecutive seasons. Like, I think he has been an instant game-changing kind of player. I do wonder if we are only having this conversation because of the position. Because I'm just guessing. If Caleb Downs was a corner, I think he'd be the number 2 overall pick. Like, if you just change that one thing about him, I think we talk about him like he's Derek Stingley. I think we talk about him like he's one of those kind of guys. And in this draft class where outside of the quarterback, there doesn't appear to be that guy. There just doesn't appear to be that guy. Maybe you would say that Jeremiah Love is that player, but he's also a running back, so that kind of changes things a little bit. I feel like if Caleb Downs was a corner, I feel like he'd clearly be the number 2 overall pick. Unless you just really love Arvell Reese, I think he's a good pass rusher, but just the way that Downs has been these last couple of years, I think the entire perception around him would just be drastically different. Here is Daniel Jeremiah talking about Ruben Bain and the arm length. There is a controversy on his arms.
Yeah, it's real. It's a conversation, and I said it at the combine on the broadcast about this is real. There's a reason why people care about arm length, and it's not just your ability to escape and get off blocks. It's your ability to finish, once you get to the quarterback and things like that. So it's a real concern. Now, the other side of it is the arm length measurements were jacked up at the combine this year. They were different. They were significantly different in some cases from the Senior Bowl as well as, the spring stuff that teams had. So everybody's going to do their own measurements with these guys. So the numbers that you see reported out of the combine, I don't know that everybody's taking those as the gospel, is what I'm getting at there. So it is what it is. It's going to be a factor. It's something they're going to discuss. But I think the combination of his arms actually being a little bit longer than they were measured in reality, and the fact that his tape is so good, I can only see him dropping so far.
One question I'd love to ask a draft person, like there's hours to talk to Daniel Jeremiah about. If you were telling me that the ceiling for Ruben Bain is Dwight Freeney, very comparable body type, very comparable arms, I would guess Freeney was just a better athlete than Ruben Bain is. Like, if we look at the measurables, I don't have them pulled up in front of me. I am going to assume that Dwight Freeney just measured and checked out better than Ruben Bain is. If you were telling me that's the best case scenario, what's a realistic scenario? Because we're talking about a guy who, in Dwight Freeney, who turned out to be a NFL Hall of Fame level pass rusher. Yeah, that's everybody's best case scenario, is you become a Hall of Fame player. I would love to know who is the everyday common man. A guy like Hunter from the Texans. He is not going to the Hall of Fame, but he is a very, very good, very, very productive pass rusher. I do want to ask a draft person that question at some point before. All right, if you're telling me, given his arms, given his body type, that Dwight Freeney is the ceiling, what's a regular, everyday, hey, who's a guy in the league right now you think he can be? And if he is that guy, is that player worth taking with the 9th overall pick?
I would need to know who that player is, because and this is a problem I have with the draft process in general. And I think it's more a media problem than it is a draft process problem. I don't like the fact that we only compare draft prospects to their absolute ceiling. You're going to hear this over the next coming weeks. So-and-so reminds me of Reggie White, or so-and-so reminds me of Chris Jones. we don't compare players to just, hey, are they going to be good and what's a good look like? It's either the best case scenario or they're a bust. So I don't know the answer of what's a common man, height, arm length, whole deal for Ruben Bain. I don't know. But I also don't like that we don't do that for any player. Like, what's a normal comparable breakdown for Arvell Reese? What's that look like? We're only going to compare him next week or the next coming weeks to, oh man, he's Joey Porter. Like, we don't do regular comparisons.
Yeah, someone on the text line says Terrell Suggs would be a regular comparison. I got to look at the physicals, at least when it came to him. I guess my question then went to the Terrell Suggs comparison would be, he wasn't nearly as dominant of a college player that Terrell Suggs was. Like, I think people have kind of forgotten how good of a college player Terrell Suggs was when he was there. Like, just a phenomenal college player. I don't think that's what Ruben Bain was in college. Like, the Terrell Suggs thing to me always just seemed very, very clear. Like, yeah, he had 24 sacks his last year at Arizona State and was a unanimous first-team All-American. It's not really what Bain was as a prospect in Miami. I mean, just a phenomenal college career Terrell Suggs had. I have it pulled up right here. Terrell Suggs in college, 163 tackles. He had 65 tackles for losses, 44 sacks when he was in school, and also 14 forced fumbles. He was just an absolute hellraiser. I think Bain's a good player. I don't think he was the prospect that Terrell Suggs was coming out of Arizona State. We did ask him, though, about the top pass rushers. Here's what Daniel Jeremiah had to say.
I don't think Bailey will get there from the standpoint of the tape is just too good. He tested really well. He's super explosive. He's polished as a rusher, so not only you get the fastball and the legit juice off the edge, but he knows how to rush. So I'd have a hard time seeing him get there, whereas Bain, and I love Bain. He's my 7th overall player. But, I could see, getting nitpicked a little bit because he's just not as long as you would like at that position. So it's a little bit of an outlier from that standpoint. I think he's going to be someone who can kick in and rush inside on sub downs, which is valuable. But, I don't think he's going to be a, 14, 15 sack guy. I think he's going to be a consistent, 9 to 10 to 11, who's dominant against the run and can kick inside and do some different things there. But I would think there's a chance he's there. And then I put Arvell Reese to the Jets. That's where I'm kind of leaning that they would go there. But I wouldn't say that's 100%, lock it in, done deal there. Because I think if you're just looking purely as pass rushers, I think Bailey's a better rusher than him at this point in time.
That would be very interesting to me if the Jets ended up taking Bailey over Reese. Now, it's mock drafts, but, most of these mock drafts have them taking Arvell Reese with the number 2 overall pick. Bailey at 2 would be a little bit of a surprise to me. It'd be a little bit of a surprise.
Is that – maybe I'm reading too much in the mock drafts. Why is that a surprise? Because he measured out well at the combine. Sure. He hit all the – checked all the boxes. And when he was playing against Oregon, which if you want to judge a guy by the highest level of game in the college football playoff, he had a really good game against Oregon. I believe Oregon's offensive line won the Joe Moore Award this year for best offensive line. If they didn't, they are one of the top offensive lines in college football. Outside the fact he went to Tech, why would you be surprised he goes number 2? Or is it just a compliment to Reese? Because I think David Bailey has all the ability to be number 2
I'm
overall.
with you. And maybe this is me just completely looking at mock drafts and holding it to that regard. I haven't seen one that's had David Bailey at number 2. I haven't seen it. Maybe there is one that has it. I feel like there is a consensus around the sport that Arvell Reese is going to be the number 2 overall pick. Now, could absolutely end up being wrong. These mock drafts are wrong quite literally all the time, but it just kind of feels like that's the direction that this is potentially heading. I want to play one more cut for you guys. This is from Daniel Jeremiah. So we talked about the pass rushers. Another point of emphasis, another point of need for Kansas City are the wide receivers. Here's what Daniel Jeremiah said.
Well, I think they're all, good options there. And I would throw Mark Cooper Jr. in that mix as well. But, to me, Carnell Tate, I'm guessing, is probably going to be gone. But he's someone, I know he ran 4.53, but teams had him a little faster than that. He plays faster than that. He gives him some size and the ability to win as a 50-50 ball winner down the field. Vertical stretch to go along with someone who's just got an overall toughness that you love. Mekhi Lemon would probably be the one that fits best for me just because, they've been a run after catch operation there. He does that extremely well. He catches everything. I think as Kelsey starts to phase out, you want somebody that's instinctive, that can find soft spots and just has a really good feel and sees things the way the quarterback sees things. I think that's a strength of Mekhi Lemon. So he would probably be my favorite fit with that group. And then, Jordan Tyson is as gifted as anybody. To me, the durability stuff bothered me. Every year he's dealt with something. He wasn't healthy enough to do what he needed to do at the combine, didn't do anything there. So, that's just in the first round, picking that high up. I feel a little more comfortable about somebody that I can rely on. And it, it's a real thing. Everybody say, oh, it's just the talent. Well, it doesn't matter. If you're not available, that's a problem.
That's the point you've been making about Jordan Tyson. If you just look at his injury history, they say your best ability is availability, and he really struggled to stay healthy at Arizona State.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When he was on the field, I watched Big 12 football. He was a beast when on the field. The problem was there'd be Arizona State games. You turn it on, you're like, where's the top wideout? Like, where is he? Where'd he go? So I think the talent is immeasurable, but I understand that people are nerve-wracked about the lack of availability. Like, he might be to college football what Darren Peterson was to college basketball this year.
Coming up in about 20 minutes, we are going to be joined by C.J. Moore. He got the opportunity to sit down and talk to Darren Peterson about his season. He did that for the New York Times and also The Athletic. We'll talk to him about his conversation with Darren Peterson. We'll get back to basketball next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan.
Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everybody's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use your FanDuel bonus bets on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even a same-game parlay. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. March basketball is here, and what better way to celebrate it than with bonus bets with our friends at FanDuel? So make sure that you visit FanDuel.com/local to opt in for bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/local to learn more about bonus bets for the tournament. So whether you think Kansas has a chance to make it all the way to the Final Four, or maybe you think that Missouri has a chance to make it to the second weekend, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Expires 7 days after receipt. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Expires 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Okay, class, let's begin.
Psst, love your boots. I just sold a pair like that on eBay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it took like 2 seconds to list, and they sold almost immediately. I've been selling everything lately. Some chunky boots, a faux fur coat I never wore, and a vintage chair that was more of an expensive clothing rack.
You know, I actually bought these on eBay. Wait, are you Kitty Sell Stuff from Brooklyn?
Okay, quiet, please.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
When shopping for a new auto insurance policy, AAA could help you customize your coverage to fit your unique needs and budget. Trust AAA Auto Insurance to help you find the balance that works for you. See how a simple switch could make a big difference. AAA, we're always with you. Visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have 2 new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at SmokehouseBBQ.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue in Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
Vicky Stevens writes, "We weren't happy with the way things turned out last season, so I made the call. Weedman's been a total game changer. Fertilization, weed control, the whole 9 yards. Our lawn has never looked better. The neighbors are so jealous, they avoid me at the supermarket. It's fantastic. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get 1 free service."
Hop in a John Deere Gator XUV for a day's work. Let's see what's on the to-do list. There goes the tree. And the fence. Not a problem. Because you've got a cargo box filled with solutions. Up to 4,000 pounds of towing capacity. And you're ready to roll.
The power's out!
Here we go again. The Gator XUV. Built for every kind of workday. Learn more at johndeere.com/Gator XUV. Nothing runs like a deer.
Shriners Hospitals for Children has been creating wonderful opportunities for children in need. This life-changing medical care helps them do the things they've always dreamed of. Go to loveshriners.org.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have an invention idea but don't know what to do next? Call InventHelp today. We have representatives nationwide and services to showcase your invention. Get started today.
Call 1-800-217-4380. That's 1-800-217-4380.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Spring getaway on the calendar? Start your trip stress-free with Park & Go, open 24/7 with all covered parking, so your car's protected from the elements. Quick shuttle service right to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned and operated.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Good news near downtown. That stall has been cleared, still heavy in the area. It was 35 northbound before West Penway. Again, you'll tap your brakes. Let's see, crash, debris, cleanup for 35 eastbound. Just before State Line, you'll tap your brakes through there. Looks like 2 right lanes are moving pretty smoothly. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, welcome back into The Drive. My name is Carrington Harrison. Really happy to be here with you on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. Coming up at the top of the hour, we're going to be joined by CJ Moore. CJ Moore is going to be on the show. He recently got the opportunity to sit down and talk to Darren Peterson. We will get his thoughts on that conversation. 2 things that I want to play for you guys. Number one, you know that we are very excited about the return of the La Tiara taco shells. I want to play for you guys the news so you can know when you can go to the grocery store and take them back to your house for a Taco Tuesday. This audio is courtesy of Channel 9.
They're back. La Tiara taco shells are going to be back on store shelves in April. This is Doug Newton here. We first started talking in April of last year. And how many boxes did you have back last year?
It's 2 cases.
2 cases,
Yep.
so a little more than 20 boxes.
Yep.
How many boxes do you have left?
3 boxes.
You've got 3 boxes left. There's the inside of his freezer. Doug, you timed this just right.
Yep, couldn't have got any better. You gotta go buy me a lottery ticket.
So they're coming back to store shelves in April in Walmarts across the country.
Yep.
Can you believe how popular this
I know
story
it's crazy. It's been insane. And the group, on Facebook has grown, triple in size since April.
20,000 people on Facebook. General Mills taking over the La Tiara brand and those tacos coming back to store shelves in April.
Amen. I usually don't go to Walmart for groceries. I'm much more of a price chopper man, if I had to say so myself. I normally go to that price chopper, Rob, over there on Row. You know, that one that's about, 10, 15 minutes from here? I normally go to that one. That's my home grocery store. But for the La Tiara, you know what? I'll drive down the street to that Walmart, and I'll go pick me up a couple of the taco shells. You got to have them. By far and away the best. So congratulations to them. They sold their idea to General Mills. Don't touch the formula. Keep making the exact same taco shells, the exact same taco seasoning. That's all we need. That is the first thing that I want to play for you guys. The second thing that I want to play for you guys, and then I actually have a bonus thing that I would like to play. Nick Wright, who you usually look for a reason to hate on the Broncos, the Raiders, or the Chargers. He likes the Jalen Waddle move.
Keep everyone, add no one, which is what they did. They were the only team that had not added a single outside free agent, and I guess still hadn't, because this isn't a free agent. And you have a quarterback you believe in, whether we think that's smart or not. Sean Payton clearly believes in him, and he's had a very good first 2 years. And he's not making any money, and you were the number 1 seed, and you needed a difference maker at skill position. I felt running back, tight end, or receiver. They needed some type of threat. Adding a 27-year-old on a good contract who has been healthy in his career. I think he has 6 career games missed for basically the 30th pick and a third, because you're swapping fourths. That makes sense to me. That is not over-aggressive, and it makes even more sense, Brew, when I think he's better than any of the free agent receivers, and they all cost more money. Now, you wouldn't have had to give up the first-round pick, but the 30th pick is not the same as giving up the 13th pick or a great first-round pick. So I think this is very smart for Denver.
I like this move, too. I do. I like this move. I think, generally, we overvalue picks. Now, they have tremendous value. Don't get me wrong. First-round picks are super important. But I would say they have multiple uses. Sometimes the use is to turn that into a rookie contract. That's a great use for it. Sometimes it is to take that lottery ticket and turn it in for a proven, already seen product. That's what they're doing. They were going to have a 4-year contract, potentially 5-year contract. They have now turned that into a guaranteed 3-year deal on a guaranteed top 25 receiver, in my mind, player in the National Football League. I don't dislike the trade. I do think they gave up a pretty penny for him. I mean, I don't think they got fleeced, but they paid what I think Jalen Waddle is worth. But for a team that feels like the throne is right there for the taking, for a team that won their division last year, looking at Kansas City and the uncertainty there is about the Chiefs, there's uncertainty at quarterback, there's uncertainty around the secondary right now. Let's see how the rest of the offseason continues to play itself out. I could understand why the Broncos wanted to be aggressive, wanted to go out and make this move, and wanted to kind of strike while the iron's hot and try to take advantage and go get Jalen Waddle. I like the trade, too. I do think the trade is smart. I agree with Nick there. Last thing that I want to play for you guys. This is actually a bonus thing that I want to play for you before CJ Moore comes on the show. I want to play for you this week's edition of Spec Says.
All right, C-Dot. The Chiefs assigned Justin Fields to be the team's new backup quarterback, and I already know what's going to happen on some Mondays, so let's just call it October 11th. It's week 6 or 7. Colts at Chiefs inside Arrowhead. 3rd and 1 from the Colts 4-yard line. Justin Fields gets the call for either a wildcat or some sort of zone read. It fails, and he kicks the field goal. Chiefs go on to lose by 3 or 4 points. You can already see this debate coming 7 months ahead of time. You're going to take the show at 2 o'clock. You're going to thank the other place. You're going to tell a friend to listen. And then you're going to say, why did Justin Fields get the ball in the most important 3rd down of the game and not Patrick Mahomes? I'm saying this before the schedule is released, before free agency's over, before the NFL draft has happened. This is a guarantee. Monday, October whatever, Chiefs lose, Justin Fields gets the ball, Patrick Mahomes doesn't. Save the tape. 7 months in advance, I'm calling my shot.
I can't say the spec is wrong. Maybe you disagree with them. 913-586-7965. Maybe you think that is a absolutely crazy, terrible take. I don't know if I disagree. Now, I don't know if they lose the game because of it. Like, that seems a little extreme to me. But, you can just see it a mile away. The Chiefs are going to be 3rd and 1 in the red zone. They're going to go to some kind of weird wildcat package. It's not going to work. And we're going to talk about how they're just getting cutesy. And why did you go get Kenneth Walker if you're not going to give him the ball in that scenario? I mean, you can't see that coming a mile away. I would love to be able to tell the boss man that he is wrong. I do not know if he is wrong here. That actually, that checks out to me. That makes a lot of sense to me, Rob. Can you not see that happening?
It 100% is going to happen. And just to further Speck's point, the same people that were texting, it was a Monday or Tuesday when that news broke, they were texting, I think it was Monday, texting in saying, oh, he's great at short 3rd and 4th down conversions. We have our quarterback sneak guy. We don't have to worry about Mahomes not sneaking anymore. This is a win. The first time he doesn't get one of those quarterback sneaks, that same texter was going to text in, it was bad by Andy. You can never take Mahomes off the field. Sure. Speck, absolutely. This is Babe Ruth hitting the home run after calling a shot.
No,
we know it's coming.
I hope that he's wrong.
He's not.
I wish that he was wrong. I can't. That's a real good prediction. I'm sorry. That's a real good prediction. Somebody said, I completely disagree with Speck. This is going to happen in September, not October. No, that's fair too. I'm telling you right now, Andy cannot wait. They're going to run some kind of double, triple reverse with Justin Fields. And, it's going to be so frustrating. You can see it coming. You really can. All right, coming up on the other side, CJ Moore is going to join us on the show. He recently spoke to Darren Peterson for the New York Times. We'll talk to him about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Good news near downtown. That stall has been cleared. Still heavy in the area. It was 35 northbound before West Penway. Again, you'll tap your brakes. Let's see. Crash debris cleanup for 35 eastbound. Just before State Line, you'll tap your brakes through there. It looks like 2 right lanes are moving pretty smoothly. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Man, your yard looks great. Who does that for you, Gunther? It's Gunter, no H. You sure it's not Gunther?
Listen, we've been with Gunter for years. They take care of our lawn with 7 annual applications. We're weed-free and have a lusher, thick, green lawn. Trust me, it's Gunter.
No matter how you say it, we've been helping Kansas City homeowners improve their yards for decades. For greener, thicker lawns, it's Gunter.
I'm pretty sure it's Gunther. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code KFNZ and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays, live betting, and more. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else. And keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. Sign up with bonus code KFNZ and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Rally House. Shop every team in town. College and pro. Come on, it's time to go.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Kansas, Missouri, Kansas State. Chiefs and Royals make KC great. Rally House. Rally House. It's your city, it's your house. It's the Rally House.
Level up your fandom in-store or online at rallyhouse.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. Got that Febreze car on the vents, living life with that just clean fresh. Yes, Febreze car, if you know, up to 40 days a cent on low. My car smells fresh, so fresh, always so fresh every day. My car smells fresh, so fresh, like I cleaned it yesterday. That's right, breathe happy Febreze, la 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 la.
When you've thrown over 4,000 innings like I have, you know joint pain isn't a maybe, it's a guarantee. For you, was it climbing ladders or too much heavy lifting? Hey, we're all in the same boat. But surgery, that was never my answer.
Baseball legend Roger Clemens knows there's a better way. That's QC Kinetics regenerative treatments that help your body heal itself. No scalpels, no fake fixes, just real relief.
What I love about QC Kinetics, these are the most respected medical pros in the country that specialize in non-surgical therapies to get you moving again.
Don't mask the pain, fix it. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation.
I trusted QC Kinetics. You should too.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford. Play ball!
Cody and Gold will be live outside Gate D starting at 10 for the Royals home opener on Monday, March 30th, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, in Odyssey Sports Station.
Really excited to be joined by our next guest, CJ Moore. He is one of the top college basketball writers. He does fantastic work with The Athletic. He got the opportunity to sit down with Darren Peterson. CJ, man, happy to have you on the show today, my man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. Take us through this. Was this an easy thing to set up? Was this a difficult thing to set up? There's been a lot of conversation around the people around Darren Peterson. You obviously had to communicate with them to get this set up. What was the process like to be able to sit down with him?
I didn't actually sit down with him. I just got him in the locker room, man. Like I've been trying for a month or over a month to
to get with him, and he just hasn't been doing any one-on-one stuff, but open locker room in the Big 12 tournament, and finally was able to get him talking, and he shared what he shared.
One argument that I have made this year is I think he should have done this a long time ago. The point that I made is he should have sat down to do the Taylor Rooks interview back in December. He should have sat down with Malika Andrews or had Stephen A. Smith come to Lawrence, Kansas to talk about the things that he was dealing with. I think a big misstep in all of this is I think it's been poorly communicated. I think it's been poorly communicated by him. I think it's been poorly communicated by Kansas. I also think it's been poorly communicated by the adults around Darren Peterson. I think there's been a lot of miscommunication here.
Yeah, I do think if he had had this conversation with somebody in the last couple months ago, before this all blew up, I agree that it would have, people would have had empathy for him and kind of what he'd gone through. And, this was just kind of the bare bones of it. But I think it at least gives people an understanding of what his season's been like and the struggle he's gone through.
How confident are you in him as we are heading into March? Because we were having this conversation earlier. I'm sure by now you've seen it. Andy Katz had his top 10 players in March Madness. Darren Peterson was not on the list. And the point that I made is at some point with Darren Peterson, we got to talk about how he is playing and not how we think he is going to play. Since the start of February, he is shooting 37% from the field. He is shooting 33% from three. He's shooting 40% from 2-point land. So he's not really efficient really anywhere on the floor right now. He only has 17 assists in their last 11 games as well. How confident are you in Darren Peterson to just get things going? Because I'm looking at the rest of college basketball, and I'm seeing these freshmen just have incredible year. I'm seeing Cam Boozer. I'm seeing Darius Acuff. I'm seeing A.J. DeBansta. Darren Peterson he's not playing at the same level as those guys right now.
Yeah, I think what he needs is time, and they're running out of it. And I think if there was maybe another month of the season, maybe we would see have the full Darren Peterson experience and see what he was like last summer, see what he was like in the fall before this all started happening. But it's almost like he needs a month's rest and then needs to just ramp it up and get in really great shape and get back to his old self. Like, I think part of it's been conditioning from all the stops and the starts and not having, being in great shape and being able to really just press on the gas and go. And, there's been glimpses, like he was great in the K-State game, but I think me and you could probably go out and get a couple buckets against the Cats right now. And, but he was really, really good in that game. He was making his floaters. He was making his shots. I think he needs a little confidence and like maybe a first round game against a smaller school. Maybe he really goes off and he gets it going. But right now he's if you go back and watch, like I've got the games on Synergy from his high school, and it's high school competition, but he's playing high level high school teams that have guys that are going to play D1 basketball right now. And there's a different pop. There's a different kind of explosion in that tape than what you see now. And I think if he were able to somehow, maybe this week off is good for him and he starts to get his legs, then maybe we can see that. But until then, I just think he's kind of limited right now in what he can do.
You talk to scouts at all level. You and I watched high school basketball games together. You watch as much college basketball as anybody. You talk to NBA people. Is he still going to go number one overall? Has that now been A.J. DeBansta? It feels like the Darius Acuff conversation has really kind of come out of nowhere, I would say, over the last 2 weeks, where now people are saying that he could potentially go over Darren Peterson. What are you hearing from NBA people as we are winding down the college basketball season and we're about to start getting into the NBA draft portion?
I think a lot is going to depend on his medicals. I think a lot is going to depend on his workouts and how he's looking in a couple months. Like, they don't have to draft right now. They get a draft in June. So I think it's still a conversation. I think there's still some people that have seen Darren Peterson at his best and can't shake that and still believe, he could probably get back to that at some point. But A.J. DeBansta, the way he's been playing, has obviously elevated his stock. And, I think if you were to poll most teams right now, I think it'd be a majority A.J., but I do think there's still people that are scared of passing on Peterson and what he can be.
Right now, we're talking to CJ Moore. He writes for The Athletic and the New York Times. He recently talked to Darren Peterson, getting ready for March Madness, getting ready for the NCAA tournament. How are you feeling about Kansas heading into this? I'm not worried about Cal Baptist. I'm sure they had a great season. I made this point yesterday. We had Kim Palmer on the show, and I told him I've watched way too much Bill Self basketball for me to think that a team whose best player is 5'10" is about to beat Kansas. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not believing it. I think Kansas handles Cal Baptist in the first round. They could be going up against St. John's in the second round. That is a much tougher kind of team. How are you feeling about Kansas heading into March?
No, I mean, not great was what I just watched over at the T-Mobile. I think that, a lot's going to depend on their defense. They have to be a team that can play in transition. When they get stops and they get some, force some turnovers and able to force some long misses, they're really, really, really good team in transition. But when you can slow the game down and force them to play in the half court, then it's tough. So, like, St. John's is not a great shooting team. Maybe they're able to get them to, miss a bunch of jumpers and they can get out and run a little bit. Teams that I think are really, really big inside have been able to give Kansas problems. St. John's does start three bigs, but they're not like huge. Like Bryce Hopkins is 6'7", Zuby Ejiofor, people know him from Kansas. He's like 6'8", 6'9". So it's not like they're a gigantic team, even though they do start three big kids across the front line. If they can force them to miss a bunch of jumpers, they'll have a shot in that game. But the like toughness and grit that St. John's plays with right now, it's if you had to compare St. John's to a Big 12 team, it's Houston, and we just saw what that looked like.
That's kind of what I've been thinking as well. I'm not surprised that Kansas lost to Houston. Houston's a great program, a great team. I was surprised that Kansas got punked in that way, and I was just surprised that they got beat up. We were talking about this on Monday. Rob's a season ticket holder, alum of Kansas, loves Kansas basketball. I asked him if Kansas is tough enough. There is a measure of toughness that you need to be able to navigate this tournament, and Kansas's toughness should. I think St. John's is going to win their first-round matchup against Northern Iowa. Their toughness is going to get tested very early on in this.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it so much depends on which Bryson Tiller's going to show up. And, can Melvin Council get any kind of confidence back? And, they need Darren Peterson to go out and, be a dude. So we'll see. It's, there's been glimpses, there's been moments, there's been first halves where he's been really, really good. Since he's been playing full games, these last 7 games, like you said, he hasn't been terrific. So he's put up points. The K-State game, obviously, he was awesome. The TCU game, the Big 12 tournament, he wasn't super efficient, but he got to the free throw line. So, a lot's going to depend on him and Bryson Tiller, I think, and how far they go.
Right now, we're talking to CJ Moore of The Athletic here, talking a little bit of March Madness. Let's move over to Missouri's side of the brackets. This feels very, very simple to me. This seems like a very easy pass or fail for Missouri. If Missouri wins this game, then their season is a success. If they lose this game, I know they made the tournament. It ain't that hard to make the NCAA tournament, not in a Power 4 school. I think a lot of people will look at this season as being a failure, especially given they lost their last 4 games, and they essentially lost a home game against Miami.
Yeah, I guess I'm right there with you. I don't know. It depends how you judge things, but they're playing a very, very similar opponent, I think, in Miami in terms of both play through a big lefty that have to have good games from those guys. But yeah, Missouri's it was a really, really bad start to the season. Credit to Dennis Gates that he got it turned around. I think it's just been kind of a whatever season. So yeah, you're probably right that they get to the second round, they win a game, probably feel a lot better about themselves than if they lose it.
You've seen these recruits that Missouri has. You've seen Jason Crow play. You've also seen Tony Bryant. I have not got the chance to see either one of those guys play in person. What are they like?
I don't think I've seen Tony Bryant, but I have seen Jason Crow. Incredible score. The one question I have with him is can he make other people better? Because when I watched him, he was getting his, right? He was going to get it up. He's got great range on his jumper. Lefty, so he's lefties are just more smooth. But I'm very curious to see him in a college setting where he's not getting all the shots and can he make other guys better? But he is a talent.
Right now, we're talking to CJ Moore here for a couple more minutes, talking a little bit of college basketball. So for this question, we're going to remove the mid-majors. I'll talk to you about the mid-majors in a separate point. Give me a handful of teams that you think are overvalued heading into the tournament from the big schools, from the Power Four. Give me a couple of teams that you think are undervalued, that you think can make a run to the second weekend from the power schools. So overrated, underrated.
All right. Well, the Big East wasn't great this year, and UConn didn't dominate it. It's hard betting against Hurley and what he's been able to do in the tournament, but I could see UCLA knocking UConn off in the second round. So that's one for the overrated for you, I guess. Houston, while I think I super respect Kelvin Sampson, I think they're a tremendous program. They've done an awesome job. They are going to get to play the second weekend in Houston. But I believe they're 2-5 against KenPom top 20 teams. Like, they just haven't beat good teams this year, except for what they did against Kansas. But is Kansas really a good team? There's a conversation right now, I guess. So Houston might be one I would say that I think, I've heard a lot of people pick them as a national title team or Final Four team. Some underrated teams, South Florida's gets to play Louisville, who is missing their best player, Maikel Brown. I think that's definitely an upset pick. Possible VCU getting to play North Carolina without Caleb Wilson. VCU's big kid is really, really good. Those are a few. It's what's interesting is that, like, you look at this, you look at these last two years, and there's such a separation between the high majors and the mid majors. And I just don't see, like, many mid-majors, if any, getting to the second weekend, because that's just where the sport is right now.
I was just going to ask you, is there a mid-major that you like? I actually like VCU in their first-round matchup against North Carolina. That's probably my upset for the first round of this. Is there a mid-major team that you like heading into this tournament?
Nobody that, like, I love getting to the second weekend. I think the team that might have the most realistic path might be Akron, because they get Texas Tech without JT Toppin, and then they get Alabama likely without the little guard that just got in trouble that used to be at Auburn. His name's blanking on me right now, Aiden Holloway. So they get those two teams possibly without two of their best players. Akron, I do think, was the best team in the MAC. John Gross used to be the coach at Illinois. He's been in these tournaments before. I remember when he had Ohio in 2012, and I think they made the Sweet 16. If I remember, that was the year Kansas made the title game, and they might have been in wherever that was. That in St. Louis? I can't remember. But John Gross, good coach. That's a good team. I think they probably have the best path to a Sweet 16 of a mid-major team.
A lot of people forget the name of the weed, man, so it's okay, CJ. That happens from time. That happens from time to time. I'll get you out of here with this last question about Miami of Ohio. I kind of feel like this is where the run ends. They made the NCAA tournament. They're playing by far and away the best team that they're going to play this season. They've kind of been leaking oil the last couple of weeks. I think all that kind of comes to a head today, and I actually think they get handled by SMU.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. Boobie Miller, if you haven't watched him this year, they haven't seen a dude like that all year. They got a big kid inside. I'm not even going to try to say his name because go look it up and see. I want the pronunciation from you, C-Dot. See if you can pronounce that. But
you're not about to get me in trouble. Hell no.
He's gonna eat tonight. So I would go with SMU, but I'd love to see Miami of Ohio win and keep that story going. But you're right, they haven't played anybody nearly as good as they'll see tonight.
That is our guy CJ Moore joining us on the show. He does fantastic work for the Athletics. CJ, man, great stuff, man. We'll catch up with you down the line in the tournament.
All right, thanks, dude.
Absolutely. That is CJ Moore joining us on the show today. Rob, can you look this up? Because I'm just curious what the answer is. The most games that a Missouri player has played in the NCAA tournament is 7. There are a handful of players that are tied. Melvin Booker, Javon Crudup, Kareem Rush, Arthur Johnson, etc. Can you look up what the highest number of games in the NCAA tournament is for a Kansas player?
Yeah, I can probably
I'm just curious what the number is. If it's 7 at Missouri, I'm genuinely curious. I also would like to know who has the record. Who do you think has the record while you look this up? Like, who would you guess?
Leitner.
I'm talking at Kansas, not all time. Yeah.
Oh, they're saying all time.
No, I'm talking at the University of
like,
Kansas. Yeah. I'm guessing Christian Leitner played in the most tournament games, too. At Kansas, who do you think it is?
I would probably, the answer might be Sharon Collins. Oh, he had an early exit, but you got to think of a guy who had a title run.
No, for sure.
That would get you 6 right off the bat. So Collins has 6. Honestly, you know what the answer might be because college basketball is broken? The answer might be Mitch Lightfoot. Mitch Lightfoot was at Kansas for 6 years and made the NCAA tournament every single season.
That's a good one.
And he played in a national title game.
Mitch Lightfoot is the answer?
It might be the answer.
You got to put his name in the rafters then if that's the case. He has the most tournament wins. Look it up. I'm genuinely curious now that we are talking about it. I would love to know who has played in the most NCAA tournament games in a Kansas basketball uniform. We will find this answer out together. Let me play for you guys what Max Crosby had to say here as we switch gears just a little bit. Max Crosby had another podcast. Here he is telling the story about what happened at Baltimore.
I didn't get to see the GM at all. I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours. And I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate. I didn't see him one time. I even asked the girl. I was like, "Where's Eric at?" Like, I want to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just made the trade. Like, I didn't see him for 5 hours. So I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, "Yeah, I'll take you up." Joe was like, "I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "That's what I want to say what's up to him." So I went back up and I dap him up, and they could just tell like the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in like the hall, like in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. And, I'm just in my head, like, this is a whirlwind. Like, I'm so excited, like fired up. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new opportunity, whatever. And you could just tell the energy was off. Like, I dapped him up. He had like a blank face. And I'm like, okay, I'm not thinking anything of it. Maybe he's just different. I don't know. I don't know him, whatever. I go into the room. They sit me down on the couch. And he's like, "Man, I don't know how to say this, but, one of our doctors has concerns with the results and whatever, and like with your knee, like some of them have, are concerned about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And, we really want you and this is what it is, but, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions." I was like, the first thought in my head, like, I was terrified because I'm thinking in my head, like, what the
Yeah, man, the Ravens are they running real shady business over there, man. Real shady business. I mean, you've been in a situation where you realize that the vibes were off. We all have been in that scenario. Like, you walk into a room and you start to look around and just, hey, man, something feel off. They were doing a lot of nonsense behind the scenes is what was going on. No, you read it correctly, Max. They were thinking of a lie. They were working on some things. They then came back and they probably did paper, rock, scissors to try to figure out who was going to tell you. No, this is real nasty work from the Baltimore Ravens. I am actively rooting against Baltimore this season because of this. You shouldn't be allowed to do this. They violated the code. There's a code. There's a way of doing things. There's a right way and a wrong way, and the Ravens did the wrong way. The football gods can't reward that. They can't. It's impossible. It's impossible that the football gods can reward that.
By the way, it is Mitch Lightfoot. 17 games in the NCAA tournament.
17, you said?
He's one of the top 10 of all time in games played, with 167 college basketball games played. He played in 17 NCAA tournament games.
17? Who was second behind Mitch?
DeJuan Harris?
Oh, he was in school for a long time, too. Yeah.
COVID year, guys. Really.
For sure. But Mitch is one. DeJuan's at what, like 15?
It's like 13, 14.
Okay.
But Mitch Lightfoot was on the Final Four team that lost to Villanova and the national title team.
Oh, so he was on two teams
so
that made a run. Okay. All right. I was curious. Shout out to Mitch Lightfoot. What do you think Mitch Lightfoot is doing right now? Like, if we Googled Mitch Lightfoot, I'm sure he has a LinkedIn. What do you think he does right now?
What's surprising is I see him very rarely at KU games. He should be living at KU games. He should go there forever. Podcast. I think he had a podcast at one point. He can't be playing basketball still, so I don't know what he's doing.
No, he is. He is not doing that. He is still at school. I'm looking at it right now. He is getting his master's right now. I am on his LinkedIn, and he does work for the Williams Education Fund.
Oh, so he's at KU, but not like they don't wave. He didn't wave and get a moment. He's working.
Yeah, that's. I'm looking at right now. Mitchell Lightfoot still lives in Lawrence. He does some fine work for the Williams Education Fund. He has his bachelor's degree in economics, and he is going to get his master's. So congratulations to old Mitch Lightfoot.
He was in school for 12 years, and he still didn't have his master's yet?
I'm just telling you. I don't know. I'm on his LinkedIn. I'm reading it to you. I don't know. I don't know what he's got going on. I'm just telling you what it says. What Mitchell Lightfoot has going on in his life. Shout out to him. Shout out to Mitch. Your guy. That's your guy, right?
I mean, he was on Kansas, and I liked Kansas. Does that make him my guy?
That absolutely makes him your guy.
17 tournament games is crazy.
Did he play in all 17 of those?
I mean, you have to have your game log register and you played. You have to have checked in.
You have to check into the game. Okay. Shout out to. How many points would you guess that Mitch Lightfoot scored in those 17? Mitch Lightfoot played in 17 games and has 41 points in the NCAA tournament. That would be my guess. Coming up on the other side, if you missed it, we were joined earlier today by Daniel Jeremiah. We're going to play the best of that conversation. I think that Daniel Jeremiah is the absolute best NFL draft voice that is out there. I want you guys to hear what he has to say about pass rush. I want you guys to hear what he has to say about wide receiver. He also right now on his mock draft has the Chiefs taking an offensive tackle with the 9th overall pick. A lot to get his thoughts on. We'll do that for you next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everybody's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use your FanDuel bonus bets on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even a same-game parlay. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. March basketball is here, and what better way to celebrate it than with bonus bets with our friends at FanDuel? So make sure that you visit FanDuel.com/local to opt in for bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/local to learn more about bonus bets for the tournament. So whether you think Kansas has a chance to make it all the way to the Final Four, or maybe you think that Missouri has a chance to make it to the second weekend, FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Expires 7 days after receipt. 21 and present in Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets. Expires 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11120. Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexspicekc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Spies KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I am grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a multi-car crash now working 71 northbound. It is just past Paseo. Center lane is blocked. Big backups in the area. Crash down at 435 eastbound and 35. Scoot to the right through here. Left lane blocked. Time out with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's George Karlaftis from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome to The Drive with CDOT on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, I got an update. Rob, I've now located Mitch Lightfoot. A text came in. Mitch Lightfoot does not work for the Williams Education Fund. He plays basketball in Japan. He plays for the, I believe you pronounce it, Kumamoto Vultures. I believe that's the team that he is on. He also recently had a daughter. So salute to Mitch Lightfoot. Rob, we have figured out where Mitch Lightfoot is, who has played in the most NCAA tournament games wearing a Kansas uniform with 17. Shout out to Mitch Lightfoot.
I can't get over 17 to so many tournament games. Just so many.
You also just got to be in school for a long time to play in 17, too.
And you have to make multiple Final Fours, which he did because he was in school for so long.
For sure. What do you think, I'm so interested in Mitch Lightfoot. What do you think Mitch Lightfoot's career high is? Like, what's the most points you think Mitch scored in a basketball game at Kansas?
12 to 16?
All right, let's look it up. Let's look it up out of curiosity. Now I'm curious before we get to Daniel Jeremiah. I want to learn more about Mitch. How much you said?
12 or 14.
Oh, 15 was his career high. He scored 15 in a conference tournament. He did that against TCU. Yeah, hooping. Gave them boys 15 and 5 with a couple assists. Yeah, 15 points was his career high. Shout out to Mitch Lightfoot, man. We all learned something a little bit today. We are better people for the last 3 minutes of the show, and we have learned more about Mitch Lightfoot. Congratulations to him, who recently had a daughter. Earlier today, we were joined by Daniel Jeremiah. Daniel Jeremiah, in my opinion, is the number one person when it comes to the NFL draft. We started our conversation with him wondering, how big of a deal is the arm length thing with Ruben Bain? Everybody keeps talking about it. He is a draft scout. He is a draft analyst. How concerning is it?
Yeah, a couple things. Yeah, it's real. It's a conversation, and I said it at the combine on the broadcast about this is real. There's a reason why people care about arm length, and it's not just your ability to escape and get off blocks. It's your ability to finish, once you get to the quarterback and things like that. So it's a real concern. Now, the other side of it is the arm length measurements were jacked up at the combine this year. They were different. They were significantly different in some cases from the Senior Bowl as well as, the spring stuff that teams had. So everybody's going to do their own measurements with these guys. So the numbers that you see reported out of the combine, I don't know that everybody's taking those as the gospel, is what I'm getting at there. So it is what it is. It's going to be a factor. It's something they're going to discuss. But I think the combination of his arms actually being a little bit longer than they were measured in reality, and the fact that his tape is so good, I can only see him dropping so far.
Right now, we're talking to Daniel Jeremiah going through the NFL draft. Let's move over to wide receiver. It seems like there's going to be 3 in the range for Kansas City with Carnell Tate, Kai Lemon, and also Jordan Tyson. How do you handicap those 3, and maybe more specifically directed towards the Chiefs? Which one of those 3 guys do you think really rounds out their wide receiver room?
Well, I think they're all, good options there, and I would throw Omar Cooper Jr. in that mix as well. But, to me, Carnell Tate, I'm guessing, is probably going to be gone. But he's someone, I know he ran 4.53, but teams had him a little faster than that. He plays faster than that. He gave him some size and the ability to win as a 50-50 ball winner down the field. Vertical stretch to go along with someone who's just got an overall toughness that you love. Maikel Lemon would probably be the one that fits best for me, just because, they've been a run after catch operation there. He does that extremely well. He catches everything. I think as Kelsey starts to phase out, you want somebody that's instinctive, that can find soft spots and just has a really good feel and sees things the way the quarterback sees things. I think that's a strength of Maikel Lemon. So he would probably be my favorite fit in with that group. And then, Jordan Tyson is gifted as anybody. To me, the durability stuff bothered me. Every year he's dealt with something. He wasn't healthy enough to do what he needed to do at the combine, didn't do anything there. So, that's just in the first round, picking that high up. I feel a little more comfortable about somebody that I can rely on. And it, it's a real thing. Everybody say, oh, it's just the talent. Well, it doesn't matter. If you're not available, that's a problem. And it's been a consistent problem throughout his career. So I acknowledge him as a great player, someone who's worthy of going all the way up there. To me, there's just a little bit of the durability risk associated with it.
Daniel, in your most recent mock draft, you had Spencer Fano, the offensive tackle from Utah. You had him going 9 overall to the Chiefs. A lot of Chiefs fans were mad about that, and I get it. They want
a lot. How about all of them?
Yeah.
I think all of them were.
I mean, I was trying to make the case for right tackle. I'm a sports talk radio host. Sometimes you got to argue the other side. I want them to go wide receiver or pass rush, but I don't think that right tackle is a terrible thing to do. You are obviously plugged in. You're hearing this. You didn't just randomly create right tackle as a need for the Kansas City Chiefs. Why do you think he makes sense at 9 for Kansas City?
Well, we'll start first of all with the pass rusher side of that thing, because this is what is funny to me about mock drafts. We need a pass rusher. I'm like, well, okay, well, in this mock draft, the top 3 guys are gone. So do you want to take Mesidor? You want to take Mesidor with the 9th pick? Because to me, that's the next guy. I like him, but that coffee seems a little bit rich to me. And then, okay, receiver. Yeah, I get the receiver thing, but there's going to be a lot of value in receivers that you can get, littered throughout this draft. And then I look at it, and I mean, I don't want to, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I don't think Jalen Moore is very good. So to me, that's a concern. And I know there was an investment made there, but I'm not a believer. So to me, I think that Fano is a major upgrade over him at right tackle. I think that's that's having worked with Andy Reid and knowing what the importance he places on that on the offensive line. I think you got to be honest about things and say, do you think he's good enough? And I also go back to, I've been in the draft room when Andy Reid's talked about his connection with coaches in college and how that has carried a lot of weight with him, whether it was with, his good relationship with Sark, and, we had a player we took in Philadelphia higher than we had him graded because he put a lot of stock and value into Sark's opinion there. And I know the connection with Whittingham and the fact his son's on the staff as well. I think he's going to get a very glowing report on Spencer Fano, and I think he's a better player than the guy they have playing right tackle. So that's why I went there.
The argument that I made on the show is, and I'm curious if you agree or disagree, is for 3 years, I heard people say, hey, you got to protect the quarterback. You got $1 billion invested in your quarterback. You got to protect the quarterback. The logic to me with right tackle is we have our left and our right tackle, we feel like, for the next 10 years. We've got our center for the next 10 years. We also have invested heavily in right guard. This is a move to me that if the Chiefs went right tackle, this would be them trying to build the best offensive line in the National Football League. That's not terrible logic to me. That's not terrible value, especially as you have in your mock drafts, if that pass rusher is not there, if Carnell Tate isn't there. I'd rather have the best right tackle than have Caleb Downs just off positional value. That was the argument that I made on the show yesterday.
Yeah, and the other argument I would make is, look, where they're picking right now, they're in all likelihood not going to be picking here. They haven't picked here in a long time. I don't anticipate they're going to be picking up here anytime soon. And if you look at around the league and you look at starting tackles, the vast majority of them are first-round picks. That's a shallow pool each and every year, and they always go higher than you think. So if you're planning on picking in the bottom of the first round for the next 6 years, you're not going to see a player this talented at that point in time. Last year was an anomaly because Josh Simmons had, he had health stuff. There was, other concerns involved there. Talent-wise, he was more talented than, where he was picked. But that you can't count on that going forward. So to me, it was an opportunity for them to get an outstanding talent at that position, knowing full well that you're probably not going to be picking in this range anytime soon.
I'll get you out of here with this last thing. When you look at the 2022 Chiefs draft, it's just loaded with starters. And that draft was very foundational in this organization continuing to win Super Bowls. When you look at where the Chiefs select, when you look at their needs, what are the things that you are saying to yourself as somebody who does mock drafts, they have to come out of the draft with this thing? What are those things that you feel they have to go find in this year's draft?
Well, to me, it's continuing to replace the secondary. They had some good pieces in place, that allowed them, to make the McDuffie trade, to let Cook walk away. You bring in Aloy Gilman. I like him. I've been around him when he's with the Chargers, a solid player. But I think continuing to build that out, I'm a believer in Noel Williams. They've got some good pieces there, but building that secondary out is part of it. To me, along that defensive front, I'd like to see him continue to add some big guys as down players. If you can mix in a pass rusher, would be high on my list. So, continue to throw resources at that on the defensive side of the ball. If you come out of this draft with an edge rusher you feel good about, you've added 1 to 2 good pieces to that secondary. Those would be probably the 3 spots I would love to, be able to check those boxes once the draft is over. And there's still plenty of ammunition outside that to address the receiver position and maybe even eventually find Kelsey's replacement. So they've got a to-do list that's a little bit longer, but in terms of the secondary, this is a team and a secondary coach, and Dave Merritt's as good as it gets.
That was Daniel Jeremiah joining us on the show earlier today. If you want to hear the full interview, be sure to go check it out on the podcast page. A special shout out to Daniel Jeremiah. I think he is the absolute best when it comes to the NFL draft. Coming up on the other side, I got a question to ask you about the Royals. I got a question to ask you about the Chiefs. I have melted them together. Keep it right here, Mr. Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5 The Fan.
Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. All you have to do is opt in to claim your bonus. Use FanDuel bonus bets on your bracket picks, money line, spread, totals, game props, or even a same-game parlay. But don't wait. These bonus bets are only available for a limited time. So make sure you visit FanDuel.com/local to opt in for these bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/local to learn more about bonus bets for the upcoming tournament. Guys, come on now. You know I'm going to be taking Kansas, but also some other teams to watch out for. I'm a Big 12 homer, so I'm a believer in Houston, Iowa State, and Arizona might be the best team. They could go all the way. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bet to expire 7 days after receipt. Max bonus $500 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like a cybersecurity engineer at a publicly traded company.
We've been hacked! They're through our firewall!
How is that even possible?
They got my password.
Please don't tell me your password was password.
It's actually password 1.
This is your job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
Baseball is back. Opening night is one exclusive game, and it's live on Netflix. On Wednesday, March 25th, the New York Yankees, led by seven-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the Bay Area to face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. A brand new way to watch Major League Baseball, and it all starts here. MLB opening night, Yankees vs. Giants, live on Netflix, Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
When the cold sets in across KC, AB May is the trusted name for keeping your home warm, safe, and secure. From furnace repairs to system replacements, we deliver reliable solutions and unmatched care and professionalism. Whether it's a sudden breakdown or routine maintenance, AB May is here to help. Trusted by generations of Kansas City homeowners, we're committed to doing things the right way every time. Call AB May at 913-732-9993 or visit us at abmay.com.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club, available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
I'm Boomer Esiason. My mom died from cancer. She was only 37 years old. She didn't have life insurance, and that was devastating for my family. That's why having life insurance is so important to me. Ethos makes it fast and easy. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. You can get up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Join Cody and Gold live from 10 until 2 at International Tap House in the Crossroads this Thursday and Friday to watch the tournament games, along with our friends at Circus Sports. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a multi-car crash now working 71 northbound. It is just past Paseo. Center lane is blocked. Big backups in the area. Crash down at 435 eastbound and 35. Scoot to the right through here. Left lane blocked. Time Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right. We are actually getting off an hour early today. Bink is going to come in. We are heading out to the Pop-A-Shot tournament. So, coming up later today, we are having our first ever Pop-A-Shot tournament. Get started at 6:30. If you're in the Pop-A-Shot tournament, I tell you to get there around 6. We'll be there. We'll be watching the first 4. They got a bunch of other games out there. If you want to lose to me in NBA Jam, I'm sure I can accommodate. If you would like to lose to me in NFL Blitz, I also feel like I can accommodate that as well in between beating you in Pop-A-Shot. So we're going to be out there. The winner gets $200 to Draftcade into the Funny Bone. We will be at the Draftcade in Zona Rosa coming up in a few hours. All right, Rob, before we get out of here, I have a Royals topic and a Chiefs topic that I would like to smash together. As I was watching the World Baseball Classic, and I was watching Maikel Garcia have a phenomenal WBC, and we have spent a lot of time talking about the Chiefs roster and where it is, I was wondering, there was a time where I think the answer was a clear yes. Right now on the Chiefs, who is their version of Maikel Garcia? Who would you say is their Maikel Garcia? Because I actually don't know if they have one right now. Like, if you think about the last 12 months and kind of where you are with him and what he's kind of turned himself into, I mean, a career year last year. He hit 286, 16 home runs, 74 RBIs. He turned himself into an all-star player and is a Gold Glove player now at this stage in his career. And just given what we just saw him do at the WBC, you think that there is another gear for Maikel Garcia. Like, he can continue to improve and get better. He's 26 years old. Do they have a Maikel Garcia currently on the Kansas City Chiefs?
No, but how much that's because every time they get one, they trade him. Like, Trent McDuffie would have been that guy, right?
I agree.
25-year-old. I know the draft is different than international pathway, whatever. They had that guy. They traded him. Rashee Rice could have been that guy, but all sorts of problems. Xavier Worthy could have been that guy. Just hasn't been the player they anticipated. Like, I think the closest thing to what Maikel Garcia is to Royals is Nick Bolton, maybe. But even then, I think he's aged out of what Maikel Garcia is.
I think this is a good point. What if the answer is Kenneth Walker?
Does that count because they brought him in as opposed to finding him? Like, that's part of the equation here with, I got to get used to it, Maikel Garcia, is the Royals
I don't know
found
what it is.
him.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Hold on, let's hear it again. Let's hear it together. I want to pronounce his name correctly. So this is what he said yesterday. Hold on, let's listen. Let's listen.
It's not Maikel, it's
Maikel.
I still don't know how to pronounce it. I'm going to just keep calling him Maikel Garcia. That's what I'm going to keep calling him, man. That's his name to me. So you're saying Kenneth Walker cannot be the answer because the Chiefs didn't draft him?
Correct.
Because I would say he fits in this. He is a 25-year-old, very productive, potential superstar player. I think he certainly would fit. You're saying it has to be a homegrown talent the way that Garcia is a homegrown talent.
Correct.
And they don't have that. I would also say, isn't it a problem that no one right now on the text line is saying George Karlaftis?
That is a problem.
That also, to me, explains how we got to this point with the defensive line. It explains to me how I ask you, I mean, it's not like Maikel Garcia is something, he's not a superstar player, but he's a really, really good player that every team in Major League Baseball would be thrilled to have. Look at what he did last year. I mean, that's a really good player who he was last year. A guy that hits 250, a guy that can steal bases, a guy that can hit home runs, a guy that drives in runs. That guy fits every single team. It is crazy to me just looking at it. There is not a person right now that thinks that is what George Karlaftis is. That they don't have the 25-year-old, 26-year-old potential all-star, next up, still ascending kind of player. Because the people are saying, oh, that's what Xavier Worthy is. Maybe. That's not what he's been so far in his first 2 years. I don't think you can say that with Josh Simmons after he played 8 games last year. I don't think that's what he is. Now, they can develop this, but if you want to talk about why the Chiefs have holes in some of the spots on their team, where these holes come from, that is why. There was a time there that we would have had 5, 6 different answers about who it was, and that's exactly who they had. They had the 23, 24-year-old ascending, look at the nucleus of talent that they've built, just solid foundation. They don't really have that right now.
I also think, and I don't want to get too in the weeds, the analogy, because I do think the analogy is good. Several people are saying in that what Creed Humphrey is. Maikel Garcia plays a more important position in baseball than Creed Humphrey plays in football. Like, Garcia is ascending, we believe, already has a Gold Glove, was a very productive player last year, and we think there's more there at third base. Creed Humphrey is those things, but center just doesn't carry the same value in football that third base carries in baseball. So the answer would have been Trent McDuffie, but he's now the answer for the Rams. The Rams have their answer. He's Trent McDuffie.
Yeah, no, I was throwing that out there. Text line 913-586-7965. Somebody said George Karlaftis has been a year away from being a year away for the last 3 years. I actually think that is a very accurate. That's a very accurate representation of who I think George Karlaftis has been.
Can you say that same thing about Rashee Rice? He's been a healthy year away from, or he's been an off-the-field issue, no off-the-field issue year away from, because we did our top 5, our blind ranking ASC West receivers yesterday. A lot of people were in my mentions talking about, well, if Rice hadn't done this, or Rice hadn't done that, or Rice hadn't been hurt like this, he would have been something. Isn't that same, he's just blank away from being special, account for Rashee Rice too?
I agree. That's why, I mean, it's always unfortunate. Let me choose my words correctly here. It is extremely unfortunate that another off-the-field incident, this is the year we should be talking about. Rashee Rice is healthy. He is far enough removed from the ACL, and he is heading into, we should be having this is a career year conversation about Rashee Rice. So it is frustrating that, once again, it feels very difficult to have those career year conversations because, once again, there is a cloud over Rashee Rice. There was the injury cloud that football happened, and then it was the cloud of his own poor decisions continue to happen as well. So I'm with you. I mean, it would be great if that player was Rashee Rice, 25 years old, heading into a very important career year in which you can make yourself a lot of money, but he just can't seem to get out of his own way.
When I heard that, I guess read it, saw the texter, then you said George Karlaftis is a year away from being a year away. Man, the Chiefs have a lot of that player. Hey, he's productive, but he's a year away from being wow. And to date, they have not hit wow. Because at this time a year ago, I bet you most people would have said Xavier Worthy's about to ascend. He could have been a Maikel Garcia at this point last year. He did not ascend. He regressed. So the Chiefs have candidates. They just don't have a known commodity the way the Royals do with Garcia.
Yeah, I would agree. To me, the Chiefs, there's about, I would say the Chiefs are counting on 5 players for this upcoming season that could very well take that next step. They're really counting on Ashton Gelati. They are really counting on Omar Norman-Lott. They are really counting on Noel Williams. There's a group of these guys who have been drafted over the last couple of drafts that now you should be given the opportunity to play. I mean, at corner, the snaps are there for Noel Williams. If he ain't on the field, that is an indictment on something because they don't really have a room right now. When it comes to pass rush for Ashton Gelati, your mindset this offseason should be, I'm ready to go. Hey, this job can be mine. You don't need to outsource this to somebody else. I'm ready to take that next step. So, yeah, there's definitely a group of, I would say, about 4 or 5 guys who are probably somewhere in that 22 to 24 range that you think have a chance of being a good player, kind of like Garcia was. I mean, I'm looking at him right now in 2023. He hit 275. He stole 25 bases. He had 50 RBIs. You were hopeful that he could turn into the guy that he's turned into. I mean, Garcia has improved in each of his 3 seasons, I would say. Every year, he's gotten a little bit better. He stole 37 bases in his second year. He had 58 RBIs. Just doing a little bit, took more walks, more patient at the plate. And then last year, at 25 years old, he took a substantial step forward. Played at 160 games, 16 home runs, 74 RBIs, 20 stolen bases, hit 280, and heading into the season has really, I think, given you reasons to feel very optimistic about the kind of player and prospect that he is. All right, so I am signing off. Binkley is going to come in. He's going to do the 5 o'clock hour. We are heading out to Draftcade for our first ever Pop-A-Shot tournament. Hope to see you there. Keep it right here on 96.5 The Fan.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a multi-car crash now working 71 northbound. It is just past Paseo. Center lane is blocked. Big backups in the area. Crash down at 435 eastbound and 35. Scoot to the right through here. Left lane blocked. Time Valley traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This hour is brought to you by State Water Heater and Reeves Weideman, online at rwco.com. Need a water heater? State Water Heaters has the solution. The Adapt Gas Tankless Water Heater with X3 scale prevention delivers efficient, on-demand hot water with no annual maintenance and may qualify for money-saving utility rebates. Ask your plumber for State at Reeves Weideman. Visit rwco.com or statewaterheaters.com.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
Here they come. A baseball-sized hailstorm means every roofer for 500 miles is on his way here to ring your doorbell. Before that happens, go online to jrstormcheck.com and relax. JR & Company is locally owned, veteran-owned, and family-owned. JR & Company offers a lifetime warranty on workmanship. But best of all, JR & Company offers a free Class 4 shingle upgrade. What does that mean? Most insurance companies offer premium discounts on Class 4 shingles. Remember, no roofer can legally offer to pay your deductible, but a free shingle upgrade can reduce premiums for years to come. Why do we do this? Because we can. A lifetime workmanship warranty and free shingle upgrade. It's why we say,
you're always better with a roof from JR.
Just visit jrstormcheck.com.
March matchups are here, and Kelsey's giving away $1 billion for a perfect bracket. No one's ever done it. The odds are about 1 in 9.2 quintillion. Kelsey's also giving $1 million to the top bracket and $1 million to charity. It's free to enter, no deposit or purchase required. Entries now open and close before the round of 64 tips Thursday. Download the app or visit Kelsey.com to read the full rules and enter. Use code THEFAN when you sign up. Eligibility requirements apply. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Participants must be 18 years or older. Not available outside the United States, New York, or Florida. Contest is not endorsed or associated with the NCAA. Official rules apply. See Kelsey.com/$1 billion bracket for more information.
There's no place better to watch college basketball than Kansas City, and there's no place better to get all you need for your watch parties than my friends over at Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes your watch party easy. They have a huge selection of ready-to-serve party trays, boneless wings, barbecue, pizza, sushi, and fresh baked goods. They've got it all. And what you can do is order ahead through the Hy-Vee app, online, or at your favorite store. Even if your bracket is a bust, your watch party will be a winner. You can get everything you need only at Hy-Vee.
Feeling the squeeze of high prices? Then stretch your budget this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Stock up and save big on 99-cent deals throughout the entire store. Like pork loin chops, just 99 cents. Skippy peanut butter, 99 cents. Green Giant vegetables, 6-pack ramen noodles, and much more, just 99 cents. Order through the Hy-Vee app or online and leave the shopping to us. Don't miss the 99-cent sale this weekend only at Hy-Vee.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru. The Subaru A Lot to Love event.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
Man, your yard looks great. Who does that for you, Gunther? It's Gunter, no H. You sure it's not Gunther? Listen, we've been with Gunter for years. They take care of our lawn with 7 annual applications. We're weed-free and have a lusher, thick, green lawn. Trust me, it's Gunter.
No matter how you say it, we've been helping Kansas City homeowners improve their yards for decades. For greener, thicker lawns, it's Gunter.
I'm pretty sure it's Gunter. I'm pretty sure it's not.
Hey guys, it's Cody and Golden. Learning the skills is only part of the journey. And over at Centric, turning those skills into a career is where people need the most support. And with Centric's 4-month IT program built around something different, a clear career pathway.
And that's where Centric's career services team comes in. They're going to help coach you through the resume building, interview preparation, and guidance, along with a real entry-level IT job with local employers. And if you're serious about making that career move, you got to just talk to our friend Russ Mondry and schedule that career pathway call. Go to Centric.com for more.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER. Vern's On Deck show for the Royals home opener against the Twins on March 30th starts at 2. First pitch just after 3. All right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
And welcome in 5 o'clock hour. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams with you. Rob and CDOT on their way to the Northland for the old Papa Shot competition. So give them some time to get up there. What's up, my friend?
Binkley, how are you? Yeah, the guys get to go play at an arcade for a little while. We were stuck here doing the show. What's up with that?
It's a little Papa Shot, man. It's a great game. Great game. Love to have the home version, right? Got some brews, have some friends, a little Papa Shot. So good luck to everybody tonight at the Papa Shot competition. As people getting into tournament fever, like Cody and Gold will be at ITAP tomorrow with Drew. So it's tournament fever. You in tournament fever? Did you watch the games last night?
Of course, yeah. It's now the World Baseball Classic over. All of my attention's on the tournament, Bink, and it's going to be like upper 70s, sunny. You got 4 games on at all times tomorrow. I might find myself out there with Cody and Gold at ITAP. That's going to be the place to be tomorrow, man.
It's going to be the place to be, but now the WBC is over, like you said. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and play the hits.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Before we get to the WBC, Bink, we have to shout out the Salvation Army. The hits are brought to you by the Salvation Army. Get your tickets today at kickhungerkc.com for Salvation Army's Civic Lunch on May 7th. Well, Bink, the ratings are out for the semifinal portion of the WBC. Earlier in the bracket, U.S.-Mexico set a record with 5.02 million viewers. That was broken by 47% between the U.S. and the Dominican Republic, averaged 7.37 million viewers, the highest in the tournament's history.
And the one thing about it is, it was well done. I mean, the whole intros, the whole thing was great, the WBC. But the thing about it was, Nathan, that was on FS1. Like, it was FS1. It wasn't on the main Fox over the year that everybody can get with the rabbit ears or whatever. We'll get to that in just a second. But everybody can get it. It's like watching the football on Sunday over the air. So FS1, to have those ratings for that game, that was the one that was Sunday night opposite of the Oscars, which nobody watched, with the semifinal over Dominican, 7.37 million viewers. That game on FS1 and Fox Deportes set a milestone as the most watched WBC broadcast ever on any network in the event's 20-year history, as you said, beating the prior mark by 47%. Unreal ratings for it, and they haven't put out, I haven't seen last night's, which was the championship, so it should be way up there when you consider it was over the air on Fox, so you get that bump being an over-air game.
You do, and I would imagine the peak has to be significantly higher than that for last night's game. Harper hitting the tying home run in the bottom of the 8th. I think if you are a baseball fan
peaked,
and you weren't tuning in at that point, I think you're running to your TV set at that point in time.
Per Sportico, they say Major League Baseball riding a wave of momentum with 3 years of attendance gains, soaring TV ratings, a crop of young stars, and expanded global appeal.
I agree with 100% of that. The ratings are extremely good for Major League Baseball. I know it's a bad luck when, 8 teams had to kind of shed FanDuel. Not really FanDuel, but it was Main Street and all that. They were the name on it, but teams like the Royals had to find, a place, a broadcast partner like the Cardinals and others. And they will get less money this year for it, but I think it's going in the right direction, especially when attendance is up and people are actually talking about the Stars, because that's always been the main thing, Nathan. Like you're diehard, so you know these guys. When they walk around, you can understand them. I'll tell you this, we almost said Maikel, because that's what his name was, but he's going by Maikel now, I guess. So
that should be hit number one. It's Maikel Garcia.
If you're saying Maikel Garcia, it's formerly known as Maikel Garcia, but Maikel Garcia. Now he could go incognito anywhere. I mean, this guy was the MVP, last night. This guy could literally walk anywhere and no one would know who he was. I'm not 100% sure Bobby Witt Jr. couldn't walk any place without people. Now, Judge different because he's so big.
That's how it's been in baseball for, a long time. I would say sports outside of take like the NBA or the NHL, maybe in a city where the team is really good and they have a superstar, it's kind of been the trend outside of a guy like Judge and then Ohtani. Big guy did travel to Japan a couple years ago. That guy's face is everywhere in Japan. And in LA, same marketing as well. I think he's sort of straying into that as well. But outside of that, Bobby Witt Jr. could walk down the streets of Philadelphia.
Yeah, Ohtani.
Nobody would bother.
Ohtani, everybody knows him. He's global. But I'm saying he could make upwards of $125 million just in endorsements. It's insane money for Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, Maikel Garcia, same thing. And he's the World Baseball Classic MVP.
It was fun to watch, and this is what people are watching, man. They're watching sports, and whether people want to gravitate towards it or not, but these networks, they understand. It's why the NFL is about to sit down with all these broadcasting partners and CBS and Fox and have them re-up and join the bandwagon, because everybody wants to watch live sports. It's evident. The Oscars were on the other night. I never watch it anyway. I don't like award shows, to be honest with you. But they had 45 million people watching in 96. 2006, 36 million. 2026, down 17 million. It was 34 million in just 10 years ago in 2016. It went in half. And, of course, that was the same night as the WBC. People like live sports. Again, 93 of the top 100 programs in America were football. It was the National Football League. 93 of the top 100, meaning it is tough to beat any kind of live sporting events. This is what people want to watch. It's what they want to see. They've spoken. It's not about the TV shows. Everybody's streaming those now and whatever. It is about live content, especially sports is what moves the needle.
Yeah, I'm getting my news on my phone. I'm getting my TV shows in bulk where I can stream them. I can binge them on the apps. I haven't watched a TV program that isn't a live sporting event in years. And that used to be something where someone looked at me and say, well, you're young. You're the new wave. But we have completely transitioned to that point as a society.
I was shocked last night. You're sitting there and you want to see the I'm not a fan of the pregame shows. Obviously, Derek Jeter rubbed people the wrong way with the whole, kind of dig at Kansas City.
That was BS.
Remind you of Kansas City at all? Yeah, I was too. It's kind of like, whoa, slow down here. You are talking about the number one market for the WBC in all the country. Kansas City's number one. So you are attacking the number one people watching this. And let's face it, since 2015, you got a World Series. You've got 3 Super Bowl titles. You've had the NFL draft. You got the World Cup coming. Kansas City's much different, man. You can say whatever you want about it. It used to be flyover country and this and that. But when you're holding the NFL draft and you're holding the World Cup, and you've got a World Series, 3 Super Bowl championships, not including Sporting winning one themselves. It's Titletown, USA. This town shows out, don't they? It's no longer the same Kansas City people used to talk about in different terms. So I didn't get that whole reference, to be honest with you, because it has become the sports epicenter, to be quite honest with you. And when the ratings show it, Kansas City, does this surprise you at all? They were number one. When they have the Olympic ratings that come out, Kansas City's always top 5. It doesn't matter what's on, Kansas City's watching it if it's sports.
Well, it is. Especially if it's an elimination game or something of that sort. Even if it's the NHL, the NBA, a league that the Kansas City doesn't have a team in, they will be the highest rated market outside of the team with those cities in them consistently. And also, Derek Jeter didn't ask these questions to other players on other teams, but Maikel Garcia got asked that, and Salvador Perez got asked something similar in an interview after. And you and I were talking about his response in the bullpen. It was fantastic. The guy said no hate to Kansas City, and I honestly didn't feel hate from his answer either. But his answer about playing for his country and what that means, I understand what those guys meant, and I'm not mad at them for giving that answer. But the way Jeter asked it was ridiculous. But back to your point about the pregame show. You got Dusty Likens, who's probably the biggest Wheel of Fortune fan in the world, that sees completely opposite of you on this point.
Fun game show. But there are nights where you can skip it, man. It's on every night during the week. There are nights to skip it. And you know when you can skip it? When it's the Kansas City Royals, some of the stars in the game as Team USA is going for a championship against Venezuela. Yes, and there were other people upset about this. Dusty, as a matter of fact, I was talking to him. He sent me a link of somebody who was like talking to Channel 4 and saying, where the hell's the pregame show? Because on the guy that showed it, on the guy that said the pregame show is on. And they even moved Wheel of Fortune like 11 o'clock at night, one other night where the WBC kind of interfered with it. But it was on the guide as WC pregame. And that's where you're freaking out, kind of like, are they still going to show this championship game? Are they? And I know it's not the people there, the host, the anchors that are doing the news. It's higher ups in the suits. But seriously, though, I'd love an explanation because a lot of sports fans are upset that here's Salvi and Maikel Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., and Avila and those guys. Here's a bunch of Kansas City guys in this. And Kansas City led in hits and everything else. They were the stars of the WBC. It was the Kansas City Royals show, to be honest with you. But so you had USA going for gold, basically. It was a big event. You had Royal stars all over the place. And they're showing freaking Wheel of Fortune. Did they not get the memo that Kansas City's number one in ratings for that event? I'm sure more people cared about that game than watching Ryan Seacrest in Wheel of Fortune. I'll be honest with you. You can miss it for one night. You can miss it for one night because this was the WBC. But I was shocked when you're flipping around, and even on the guide, it says WBC pregame. Now, pregame shows aren't the end-all, be-all. It's the actual game you want to see. But I was shocked you're showing freaking Wheel of Fortune when WBC is supposed to have the pregame on. And I understand if you're in some market, no one's watching, you're in the number one market, and you have Kansas City Royals stars, and you choose to show Ryan Seacrest and Wheel of Fortune. I couldn't believe it.
I am out of the loop when it comes to ratings. Maybe the Wheel needed a boost, and they knew Kansas City could provide that boost. I have no idea. To show you how out of the loop I am, is Seacrest hosting that thing now?
Yeah, he's hosting it now. But anyway, I was shocked because of what's there. It was if there weren't Royals in the game, it would still be big to show it, especially when Kansas City's number one. And then you have Bobby Witt Jr., the biggest baseball star in this town. 913. We have 2 World Series titles and 4 Super Bowls. Maybe I wasn't listening, misheard you. No, you misheard me. I said since 2015, which we do not have 2 World Series titles since 2015. We don't have 4 Super Bowl titles since 2015. Do me a favor, take that earwax, clear it out of your ear. We have 1 World Series since 15. You've got 2, yes, 1985, and of course, 2026. And believe it or not, I was at 1980 when they lost the World Series to the Philadelphia Phillies. I was in the stands for that game. Were you? That's the question. You love the text. Were you at that game? Just curious about that, because the host that you just tweeted was. But anyway, I was shocked that was on there. And it just shows you how much we love live sports. In Kansas City, are we surprised at all that Kansas City was number one on the list? I mean, literally any kind of sporting event, Kansas City watches it, man. Kansas City loves and consumes sports. It's no shock to me. Whatever's on, it doesn't matter if it's a luge or anything. People in this town are watching it.
Yep, absolutely. And get a chance to display that enthusiasm this summer with the World Cup coming through town. I mean, it's just one after another. It's been a great viewing time in the sports calendar. This time of year is always great. It's my favorite time of the sports calendar anyway. But you add the WBC, you add the soccer tournament coming to town this summer. It's wonderful.
Yeah. As the text line points out, it was on 4.2 on the pregame. This is true. It was if you have an antenna, it was on. If you have an antenna. Do you really have an antenna? Would you out and get an antenna for the NFL? I'm just saying, most people It wasn't. You could watch it on antenna. Does it deserve the antenna with Royals players? No, it doesn't. So somebody made the decision higher up, but I digress. We still got to at least see the game. I was watching MLB Network pregame anyway. I was like, screw it, I'm just watching this.
MLB Network, the home of the manager, Mark DeRosa, who's caught a lot of heat throughout this tournament as well.
And it'll continue is the Alex Bregman starting over Gunnar Henderson.
Yeah, I'm tired of the Mason Miller stuff, though. Like, he was just listening to the organization that said only pitch him in a save situation, and every manager respected that throughout the tournament.
They all
I
dealt
think
with
that's
that.
unfair heat for DeRosa.
They all dealt with that. I mean, these teams are all over, which brings up the question, should they play this thing at the All-Star game? You're still going to have the same questions, though. They're going to be in playoff chases and everything else. So everything that comes to the manager now from the GMs and the teams, it'll come in just the same if this thing is in the middle of the season. I know they want to put it there because guys' swings are a little bit better. Your swings are a little bit better when you're doing this in the summer instead of right now. Like, I get that, but you're still going to have all the, hey, we need to save our pitching for later.
We are going to have the way it used to be with hockey players in the Olympics when those guys weren't allowed to go. It'll look that way if baseball puts the WBC at the All-Star break. These guys won't play. Their bodies will be broken down, and they'll be giving up their time off in order to play. Right now is the perfect setup for that tournament, and they should keep it that way.
No question. Number 2, the Chiefs are gearing up for the NFL draft, the 9 picks. Obviously, the draft has taken a little bit of a back page now, or back seat to the NCAA tournament we're all going to be treated to. Again, this is sports craziness. Last weekend was one of the best sports days you will have. Sunday was incredible. If you're a NASCAR fan, I love watching it. That was on. The Players' Championship was on in golf. You had that. You had the bracket released, at 5 o'clock, and then you had the WBC on that night. That was a great sports day. Of course, you get the NCAA tournament to kind of carry you over. Then you get the NFL draft coming up in April. Then, of course, you're going to have the World Cup. You get Major League Baseball starting the World Cup. It's just beginning, my friend, just beginning. But we released our mock draft today on character concerns. I thank you for listening because people tune into it. I appreciate that because we put this thing out during the summer, every month during the season. I know that it's not a real hot draft time earlier in the season, but you can talk about which matchups they're going against, and you watch some of these prospects. But through the 9, we stayed with wide receiver at number 9, and I have people sending me their mocks now to take a look at their mocks, and I'm blown away with the amount of people that don't have a wide receiver on there, or they got a receiver way down the list in like the 5th round, one of the 5th round picks for the Chiefs, 5th round. Like, okay, who's going to catch the football? The Chiefs had the smallest money being spent on wide receivers in the entire National Football League, number 32. That doesn't quite compute with having the number 1 quarterback in the NFL to have the receiving core like we do. But it's amazing just seeing one receiver like in the 5th round, something like that. Now, we went wide receiver Maikel Lemon still with the 9th pick. I can listen to arguments, obviously, because the 29th pick does change things. But we addressed an edge with T.J. Parker at 29. Then you go right to Christian Miller at number 40, who plays all over that defensive line. 3 tech. He can play 0. I know they brought in Tonga to be on the nose, but he only plays about half the snaps. There's someone that can play the other half. We addressed backup tight end, and we had three wide receivers in this draft. You got to rebuild this room. They got to do it some way, and you don't want to pay that big tax on wide receivers like other teams are doing. Like the Colts giving $29 million to Alec Pierce. This is the kind of money these guys command. This guy's never had 50 catches in the NFL. Gets $29 million on a hometown discount to stay in Indy. It would have cost at least 30 and beyond if he went to New England, if he would have left Indianapolis.
I would love to have Maikel Lemon on this football team. So this is not a shot at you and Chris. He's my favorite receiver in this draft, and I love just the prototype of receiver he is. It is not one I think the Chiefs have had. He's not the speedster gimmick guy. He's also not the go up and get it guy. He's the middle of the field, St. Brown, Puka, JSN type, and that's what I think Mahomes would just thrive having. Who is starting across from George Karlaftis if the Chiefs played football today? It should not be Ashton Gelati.
And Gelati was taking steps last year. We don't know about FAU. We haven't. I mean,
that's how bad
there's no track record to prove. I know they need it, and they've led the NFL before with bad sack artists. Like you look at Super Bowl 57, You wouldn't think that team had many pass rushers, would you? That team finished second in the NFL in sacks because Spagnuolo was creative with the secondary, the inside linebackers. He was getting blitzes from all over the place. They were number 2 in the NFL in sacks. They were number 2 in the NFL the following year in sacks. Now, they dropped back this past year to 22nd. They were tied with the Patriots, but they still don't have anybody to catch the football because I always think you should look at Rashee Rice, and you gotta build your team not thinking about 100%. Him going forward. And I think the Chiefs dropped the ball last year, to be quite honest with you, because they knew Rashee Rice was going to be suspended. He was at least probably going to miss 4 games and ends up missing the 6th at the beginning of the season. But they knew that suspension was coming. Everybody knew that suspension was coming, and they knew it, but they just drafted one receiver, and they drafted Jalen Royals, who couldn't get on the football field. And listen, I know he had knee tendonitis and stuff in training camp, but contrary to the text line, he did not go on the IR the whole season for the Chiefs. So that was their one dart they threw who didn't help them. And then guys like Keenan Allen went all the way through free agency, all the way till summer, until training camp started to sign with the Chargers. They did not have a backup contingency plan for Rashee Rice.
And I am not pro the current state of this wide receiver room. We went through it earlier. It's pretty much the cheapest in the league. It also has one of the highest drop rates in the league. It's not good. We don't have a good long-term prognosis for Worthy, Rice, Royals, any of them. I can see that room getting better with a veteran that continues to fall through the cracks, a Jennings, a Samuel, one of these guys that you bring in for 1 year on a heavily incentivized deal, plus a day 2 draft pick, or going out and trading, one of those draft day trades that always happens for a Brian Thomas Jr., for a Marvin Harrison Jr., a guy like that. I can see the wide receiver room getting a lot better in those situations. I can't see a situation in which this edge room is saved unless you are picking an edge rusher at 9, or if you trade back because the guy you love is still there, like let's say Bain is gone, but you love Falk and you can go back and get him, whatever. Picking a guy in the first round and bringing in a veteran to sort of have that rotation with Karlaftis and Gelati. So I am not satisfied with the state of this wide receiver room, but this edge problem cannot be fixed, in my opinion, without a high draft pick.
Bradley Chubb was the guy, obviously goes to Buffalo. That's a guy that you guys could have seen here. Calais Campbell still sitting out here. I know he's old, but I think the Chiefs are kind of pushing in with some of the older guys. You're bringing Kelsey back this year. He's not going beyond this year. Chris Jones doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank either. So they are kind of.
I'm in for Campbell. Rotate him and Tonga out based on what the down. Yeah.
I think the last couple of years they tried to squeeze all the blood out of the turnip. I mean, they were just kind of rolling. Veach basically admitted it as well. Like, just see how far this thing can go, and you didn't really have that plan. Just see how far you could get the thing working for the Kansas City Chiefs. But I always felt like if you're going to rebuild this room, it's not through free agency with wide receivers. It's just not. Because that costs big money. Juwan Jennings is a free agent. He's going to get over $20 million. Probably 22. You're going to pay that for Juwan Jennings? I know he had a good Super Bowl against the Chiefs, but again, that wasn't last year either. And he's a former 7th-round pick. But this is what happens when you draft more than one receiver. You can get a Puka Nacua, who was the 4th selection for the Rams in the 5th round. You can get a Juwan Jennings in the 7th round. But you're not always right. Obviously, when you draft a 5th rounder, 7th rounder, it's not always going to work. But you're not taking the chance to do it. You're throwing one dart at a receiver, and you're saying you got to work out. Sky Moore, you got to work out. You're the only Rashee Rice, you got to work out. What you did his rookie season, that worked out.
And unfortunately, they have taken that approach on the D-line. I'd love for them to take it at wide receiver, but unfortunately, they've taken that on the D-line, and it just hasn't worked. The Coburns, the Thompsons, the FAUs, the Speaks, the Passignos, if they take that position of we're going to just dart throw at wide receiver, yes, it could lead to a hit. It's more likely to. It still has to. So it's not a guarantee either that you get those guys. But, I am satisfied with the spot this team is right now compared to where they were a month or two ago because I think them trying to get all the blood out of the turnip is what they should have done, right? They were playing for a 3rd straight Super Bowl. We knew they'd have to pay the price.
You had to wait for the wheels to fall. It was like driving an old car, right?
Yeah, and I think they've made good, savvy additions so far.
You already got that car paid off, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to run this thing into the ground,
100%.
Then I'll get something new. I think the Chiefs kind of ran it into the ground
and
before the wheels fell off, and they finally did. This is what Veach had to say, by the way, about his off-season plan right before the combine.
I think every year, I mean, it's a challenge, and we do have some flexibility with how we're set up to do some different things, but it's not like we have $90 million in cap space. We know we have to execute an efficient game plan in free agency, and then we got to nail these picks, and that'll be important for us to keep this run going. Obviously, we had a step back last year, and everyone was disappointed, but everyone's motivated, and even the coaching staff too. Like I said, the last few years we haven't had a chance to really get with them much before the combine, and right after that Vegas game, I mean, those guys were all in, and it was exciting and energetic in a way just to get out there. And I think the last few years, we were kind of just like in a maintenance stage, and now we're trying to just rebuild this thing again. And I think for a GM and a personnel staff, that's exciting.
So he usually admits something at these, preseason press conferences, unlike other GMs, he does. But he mentioned it right there. We were kind of in a maintenance stage. We were kind of a maintenance stage, and that's exactly what they were. They weren't exactly going forward, but had them going heavy defensive line, obviously, with edge rusher. I love the second tier of edge rushers, by the way, the T.J. Brock Parkers, the Zion Youngs, the Gabe Jackas, and the second group of wide receivers as well. That's why if you say, all right, at number 9, you've got 100% go defense in that situation as long as, 29 and 40, you address receivers. We had
Cooper,
3 receivers.
Yeah,
we had 3 receivers being taken, to kind of build up this wide receiver room for the Kansas City Chiefs because – and the other thing, too, is it reminds me of Orlando Brown. I was kind of telling you this before, like the Orlando Brown deal. The Chiefs were stuck. They were drafted at the end of the first round. They needed a left tackle. I mean, they had to get a left tackle. They were schooled in that Super Bowl against the Buccaneers, and they had to rebuild the line. They had to get a left tackle. And the draft had tackles. The problem is they just weren't left tackles. And not only that, they weren't very good tackles. A lot of them moved the guard, the Sam Cosmi, Liam Eichenberg, guys like that. So they didn't know what to do. So they called the Baltimore Ravens, and believe it or not, they got a tackle in Orlando Brown. They tried for Trent Williams, but he re-signed back with San Francisco. They were kind of out of options, but they wanted a proven left tackle. Kind of reminds me of wide receiver a little bit. Would I be shocked if they actually made a move for a veteran wide receiver that can catch the football and do things with Patrick Mahomes? Would that shock me? No, because you're saying, all right, we're not going to pay that big free agency tax. We'll give a draft pick this year because we like the 2027 draft better. So I get that. And you don't want to pay that heavy tax on it. And then you have to look at Andy Reid because he's going to have to turn a corner. The old dog's going to have to learn new tricks, right? He's never been, quote, great with rookie wide receivers. Sean Jackson had a good year. Xavier Worthy, 59 catches, but still under 700 yards. But he's got to turn that corner because a rookie receiver, if you did draft like a lemon at 9, you got to use them. It's not training wheels. It's not go in when you can. No, it's you're going to be a number 1 or number 2 wide receiver with this team. It depends on what Rice's situation is. But we're going to depend on you going forward. So can I see them making a move if they don't draft 1 at 9? 100% I can.
Yeah, and I know we're up against this, so I'll make one last point on this. Getting boxed into needing a left tackle, like the Orlando Brown Jr. situation. I think the Chiefs are one veteran move away at both edge and wide receiver from getting the whole roster to a point to where now there is no emergency. There's no fire to put out. Now they need upgrades, but they can still play the board at 9. If a Lemon falls, they can grab him. If a Bain falls, they can grab him. If neither of them fall, you want to move back, they can do that. As currently constructed, I think they are desperate at both of these positions, and I would like to see them, and they've done that so far at safety, at corner, at running back. They've gotten out of sort of that emergency situation, and I think they're close to being able to approach the draft and play in the board.
Yeah, and again, the talent is different in the top 10. You expect different expectations.
Absolutely.
From the 816. They've not been good at drafting wide receivers. Rasheed Rice did hit in the second. That was the number 2 rookie receiver, only behind Puka
need, though.
the year. Yeah,
because they had to bring him. They needed him.
Else. And Xavier Worthy had to step up because Hollywood Brown gets hurt in game 1 in the preseason in Jacksonville. Then all of a sudden, game 4, Rasheed Rice goes down. It's like, all right, I know you're a rookie. I know you're a rookie picked at the end of the first round, and you're kind of underweight, but you got to be our number 1. And that was a team riding Super Bowl success that was relying on that. So, yeah, things do change. Adam Schefter was on today with Ty Schmidt. He works on the Pat McAfee show, does like a little hitters with Adam Schefter. And he said something really interesting about who the Chiefs could still draft and who may not be going to Tennessee at number 4 and who might be a piece for Kansas City, to be honest with you. We'll discuss that next.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code KFNZ and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays, live betting, and more. Earn BetMGM rewards points on every bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else. And keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. Sign up with bonus code KFNZ and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Net big cash at Harrah's Kansas City. With 3 ways to win, you could score major prizes. 1. Each day through March 28th, earn to swipe your Caesars reward card at a Net Big Cash kiosk to instantly win up to $100,000 cash. 2. Collect letters to spell out winning words to score up to $1,000 free play. 3. Join us March 28th for drawings with a grand prize of $50,000 cash at Harrah's Kansas City. Visit our website for full details. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Over time, your home's exterior takes a beating. You might notice faded colors or peeling paint. You need to call my friends at CertaPro Painters, whether you're thinking about the inside or outside of your home. Their free estimates are detailed and easy to understand, and you'll get a quote right away. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. And remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
Brought to you by Gravely Commercial Mowers. Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starts March 19th.
Your reputation matters. That's why so many landscape professionals choose Gravely. You can save up to 20% on Gravely Commercial Mowers during the Gravely Mow the Distance sales event starting March 19th. Visit your local Gravely dealer today.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, we've got a crash Kansas side, I think, 635 northbound, just past K5 South. It is the right lane blocked. That multi-car crash still working just as you're heading into downtown, down at 71 northbound in Paseo. Right lane blocked. Scoot to the right through there. Let's see, we've also got Raytown, another multi-car crash, 435 northbound before Gregory, left lane blocked. Time Bow with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back to The Drive. Jay Binkley, Nathan Williams with you. Carrington and Rob on their way to the Papa-Shot competition. So he needed to leave a tad bit early. Wish them good luck in the Papa-Shot contest.
That's convenient. We go from 10 degrees to 75 degrees and see that and Rob cut out of here early, isn't it?
Well, it's going to be that way the next couple of days. I think 85 and like 88 or something like that, or 80, maybe 85 Friday. I don't know. It's going to be nice.
It's time, man. Opening days next week, the tournaments this weekend. We finally got some sunshine. It's a wonderful time of the year, Bink.
No question about that. No question about that. Adam Schefter was on with his little podcast he does there with Ty, and he said some interesting things about a man named Jeremiah Love. And, of course, a lot of people are kind of earmarking him to go number 4 to the Tennessee Titans. But the Kansas City Chiefs were mentioned here as well, and I thought it was pretty interesting. Here's what Adam had to say.
And that's before, they've been linked to Jeremiah Love in the draft, too, who a lot of people think he might be the best player in the draft.
He might be the best player in the draft. That would surprise me if he's at 4. I think the Jeremiah Love watch starts at 5 with the Giants, and it's on from 5 through 9. Okay. 5. I mean, here's the thing. Would the Chiefs still take Jeremiah Love having paid Kenneth Walker? You know what I say to that? If the Falcons could take Michael Penix having paid Kirk Cousins $100 million, then the Chiefs could take Jeremiah Love having paid Kenneth Walker what they did in free agency.
Yeah, and you can play him virtually anywhere on the field. I think
First of all, that is absolutely, totally ridiculous. They're not taking Jeremiah Love. And it's funny because these national reporters and how much influence they have from the agents, right? It's just like they were talking about when Ruben Bain's arms were shorter. They came out there, some of the national reporters saying, well, but two guys had it longer or whatever. They had the arms longer, even though, because the agents are talking to them because they know it could, run big money. And their arms will be longer. It's a game at this point. It is a total game. It is a total smokescreen. Believe about half of what you hear right now with the NFL draft. Let me put it this way. 46 offensive linemen were at last year's combine, Nathan. Do you know how many guys' arms grew when they had their pro day? Because pro day is going on right now. USC just had theirs back. Georgia had theirs today. But the pro day season is now. 46 offensive linemen. And keep in mind the arm length thing. We joke around with Ruben Bain and all that and the short arms and stuff like that. But offensive linemen, they look at it at a time. Matter of fact, Andy Reid's never, ever drafted a offensive tackle with less than 34-inch arms. So it does matter to him, except once. Josh Simmons was 33. That was the one exception that he had. But out of the 46, can you guess how many of those guys' arms grew when they had their pro day out of 46 guys?
I was going to guess half, 28.
43.
Or that's not 23 is half. 43.
43 of the 46 guys that measured at the combine had longer arms when it came to their pro day. Yeah, and also the Cornell Tate's 40. They came out there, I think it was Schefter or somebody had a report that two GMs had it faster than that or something like that. It ranges like, come on, man. These GMs, they sit up there, they have a Starbucks in one hand and a stopwatch in the other. You're going to take that or the timed laser timing on the field. Laser starts, lasers down the track, lasers at the end. And they go back and video it and go back and watch it. Tyquan Thornton, a perfect example of this. They gave him a 4.28, even though he ran a 4.21. Then they went back and watched the video, and it was 4.28. So, yes, it's been done before. But who are you going to take? The two guys that were up there, or are you going to go with the timed laser starts?
I want to talk first about the take that Schefter gave, which is that the Falcons can pay Cousins and draft Penix. The Chiefs can pay Walker and draft Love. You know the difference between those two organizations is one is good and one's not.
No, it's exactly right. And I was looking at a lot of these mocks, and it's still no receiver. It's like
what are we talking about?
We're not doing it. I mean, they got to is Patrick Mahomes going to throw it and catch it too? I mean, is that what he's going to do? And to draft two running backs, or not draft two, but take a Jeremiah Love when you have a alpha running back in Ken Walker, that's your dude. You made that decision. That is your dude. The way you're paying him, that is your guy. It's not drafting Jeremiah Love. You don't have a Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier situation, even though both these running backs, better in that case than what you had with Tyler Algier. Now, not Bijan. He's right there with them, of course. But no, and here's the thing. if Tennessee stays with Pollard, right, and all of a sudden you start seeing a slide of Jeremiah Love, because let's say Tennessee doesn't do it at 4. Arizona honestly could do it at 3. So let's say he makes it through Arizona and Tennessee at 4. The Giants, he was, hyping up the Giants could draft him with Cam Skidaboo, that's in New York now. Say they don't do it. Then it's Cleveland, who got 2 good running backs last year in the draft. They're not doing it. And then Washington in 7, they got Bill Crosby Merritt, they really like. And Washington Commanders could be it. But then you get to 8, ETN signed with the Saints. Same type of situation. Then you have Ken Walker with the Chiefs. Jeremiah Love could only come into play, to be honest with you, if he's still sitting there. And that's what the Chiefs need to hope on draft night, that he's still sitting there. And you're starting to field calls at 9. You start to field calls for teams wanting to move up for a Jeremiah Love. Now, it sucks when you say, yeah, man, especially like if Bain's gone and Tate's gone and Lemon and the guys that you really want are gone at that point, and you're sitting there at 9, all of a sudden Jeremiah Love now becomes a huge piece. I think he's going to be gone before this, but if for some, we see slides in the draft all the time. If for some reason we see him sliding, and the Chiefs were fielding calls to move back to 15, to move back to 16,
Minnesota.
still take that one, still have 2 first-round picks, have it like a 15 and 16 and at 29.
Pick up an extra pick next year.
But
for sliding
Jeremiah
back.
Love could be used as a nice little piece as well.
The Cardinals picking him at 3 would be malpractice. I think picking about any running back in the history of the NFL at 3 is probably a stretch. There are maybe a couple I would consider that high in the draft. And the Cardinals, why would they be doing anything besides picking in the trenches until they get their quarterback? I could at least understand from the aspect of we want to give our young quarterback all the weapons we can give him, right? With Cam Ward at 4, with Jackson Dart at 5, with Jaden Daniels at 7. I would understand those. The Cardinals picking Love at 3 would be insane. I would love it if he's sitting there at 9, but not because the Chiefs would take him, because I think they would field calls like you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just curious, because that would be the ultimate, that would be the best situation. Because usually, if you're the Chiefs, you would hope a quarterback would be there, but that's the problem with this draft for the Chiefs is that quarterback's not out there, so no one was going to trade down for the quarterback, just like when Mahomes. When the Chiefs drafted Mahomes, he was just still sitting out there. They were drafted at the end of the first round. They call Buffalo. They make a move to draft Patrick Mahomes, move up, but that quarterback doesn't exist where you'd want to trade up and get one. That's what sucks, because these quarterbacks let everybody down this year. And then you have Dante Moore going back to Oregon, and that changed things as well of what the Jets actually going out and getting their quarterback. But Jeremiah Love could come into play is if he becomes a piece for the Kansas City Chiefs or the Saints. If the Saints at 8 are in the same situation, I think it could be the Chiefs, though, because if the Saints would pass on him, I think teams would honestly think the Chiefs are going to pass them. They'd be willing to make a deal if their, quote, guys aren't sitting there in the top 10. So it is interesting to think about that as far as he is concerned. Well, coming up next, the Chiefs made it official. You know how they takes a couple days to make things official, Nate, is how it is. But Justin Fields was in Kansas City today. Matter of fact, he was wearing a Chiefs hat. He was in the building. He was saying, "Hi, Chiefs Kingdom." Should we expect
all good
anything
things for a Chiefs player to do, I guess?
Should we expect anything from Justin Fields? We'll talk about him next.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Visit AnthonyPHC.com today.
For 75 years, Kansas City families have trusted Anthony for comfort, safety, and dependable service. Thank you for trusting us with your house keys. Anthony, in your home for 75 years.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM using bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Get into hockey, basketball, and more of your favorite sports with same-game parlays. That's what I do. I love it a lot. Live betting and more. Earn BetMGM reward points on every single bet. Take advantage of offers found nowhere else, and keep an eye out for your rewards dropping in your account throughout the year. So again, sign up with bonus code DUSTY and receive up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. BetMGM, make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsible. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. New customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this. What if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
This is Kevin Harlan, and if I sound a little tired, it's because it's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford.
You and me both, Kevin. It's been nonstop.
Well, Rob, remind me again why.
Because Rob's Site Ford is offering brand new F-150s up to $16,500 off, 0% financing for 60 months, and 0 payments for 90 days.
Yes, that'll do it.
And that's just the F-150s. We've got the best deals of the year on Super Duty, Ranger, and Maverick.
Okay, so let me get this straight, Rob. Massive savings, strong financing, no payments for 3 months, and people are showing up?
It's nonstop.
Funny how that works.
Turns out, when you've got the inventory, the price, and the experience, people notice.
Especially when you're Kansas City's #1 top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars and over 3,000 reviews.
And Kansas City's top volume F-150 dealer.
No wonder you're tired. It's Ford Truck Month at Rob's Side Ford, 135th and State Line, or robsite.com.
But don't wait. These offers end soon.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Brought to you by Kalshi. Trade on anything.
The March tournament is here, and Kalshi is giving away $1 billion for a perfect bracket, $1 million to the top bracket, and $1 million to charity. Free to enter. Download the app and use code THEFAN when you sign up. Eligibility requirements and official rules apply. See Kalshi.com/$1 billion bracket for more info.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this, and we've got crashes. K10 westbound just before Renner. That's a stalled big rig off to the right shoulder, some onlooker delay, and then continue on. K10 eastbound at Woodland. Left lane is blocked. That is a multi-car crash. I'm bound with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Cole Reagans from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to The Drive with CDOT on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back to The Drive. Papa Shot getting ready to be started up at Zona Rosa. Carrington and Rob going up there and see what they can do. Going to watch first four tonight. True TV, man. True TV is where it's at, Nathan. It's the one time a year that we all look for True TV. And, I remember where it's at now. I don't think I ever watch it during the year, to be honest with you, except for now.
Yeah, same with TBS. It's now and the first round of the baseball playoffs. You fire up TBS.
So True
It's always there
TV
for you.
tonight. Yeah, I'll be locked into the tournament Thursday and Friday. Don't forget ITAP. You can go be with Cody Golden Drew to watch the games. Always fun to go to a bar, watch the games with other people, have a little fun. I'm sure there's a lot of brackets being finalized tonight. If you wait until the first four is done before you go ahead and put them out. Have you already picked your Final Four yet?
I have. You want to list them real quick?
Sure, who you got?
So on the right side of the bracket, if you're looking at it, I've got Arizona and Virginia. I have Virginia taking down Michigan in the Elite Eight. On the left side, I'm taking Houston, and I don't know what to do in Kansas's region. There's about 6 teams I could pick, but give me UConn.
There you go.
About you, Vink.
What's that? I have Arizona win the whole thing.
Yeah, same here.
I have Arizona winning the whole thing.
They have a Big 12 championship game rematch in the national title game.
I think
Arizona
Duke in the East, Florida. I went with a lot of one seeds.
You went 1 seeds, didn't you?
I went a lot of one seeds. Well, sometimes it's there.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 of the 4. When Kansas won one time, won all 4 ones.
Yeah, I think that was kind of rare, though, for the time period. But
Yeah, it
now it's
doesn't
getting
always
more
happen.
chalky. It's getting more chalky.
It's getting more chalky. So that Justin Fields in town, were you surprised at that deal at all with the Chiefs made it? 53 career starts in the NFL. That part doesn't surprise me because Andy Reid likes guys that have played in the National Football League.
It did from the Chiefs' perspective a little bit because it's so different from their normal backup quarterback mold. But I love it for Justin Fields. Maybe he can make a few starts. Maybe he can have a few design plays throughout the season. More than anything, he gets his chance to have his Daniel Jones, Malik Willis type arc of his career and get a starting job next year. So I love this from the Justin Fields angle himself.
I'm okay with it. I like the fact that he runs so well. He has 1,143 yards 1 year in the NFL rushing. Yeah. He just turned 27 on March 5th. And keep this in mind. Ken Walker has never had as many yards in one season as what Justin Fields has had at the quarterback position. But again, I think there's a lot of trick plays that you can do. Don't want to see him in key trick plays. Let's face it, on 3rd downs, 4th downs, I think there's trick plays you could put out, even with Mahomes on the field. I think they're going to have some fun with him as an offensive weapon.
I was telling Logan this the other night on After Hours. Are you ready for the one Sunday where they roll out, it's 4th and 1, it's a big situation, they're in the red zone, and they roll out a direct snap to Xavier Worthy, and he pitches it to Justin Fields, or just something nasty in the backfield, and the text line's going to be hot. I can't wait.
It'll happen. Well, we'll fill you in on the tournament tomorrow. I'll give you all the scores throughout the day. I'll be doing that tomorrow night as well. Thanks, Nathan Williams. Appreciate it. Everybody have a safe drive out there. Go enjoy the Papa Shot. Talk to you later.